Okay, so I have the test device recording right now. All right, so we're going to begin this test in a few minutes.
Woohoo!
Hey, everybody who's on this channel, go ahead and let me get a sound check from everybody.
Meow.
Why?
Well, no, because Tassara's not hearing anybody. That's why.
Oh,
Okay.
well, in that case, meow.
Are you hearing? Oh, give me a 10 count, please.
10 count, please.
Yeah, let's see. Tassara's not hearing anybody.
Meow.
Maybe
meow,
Tassara
meow.
should disconnect and reconnect.
That might be what she needs to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's figured it out.
Oh, it's working now?
Yep.
Woohoo!
Okay, so do you guys hear any echoes or anything?
No.
Nope.
All right,
no
cool.
echo.
All right, it looks like we are set up for this.
Do you need me to?
No, because the headset I have is.
Do you need me to step into another room?
I think it's just going to be him talking, right? So I don't necessarily hear him on here because I can hear him here, right? Okay, you're right. Yeah. Okay, he is now muted.
So we're currently working out the technical issues on this side here to see if this hybrid is going to work.
Hooties.
Again, if you have a jack, a headset jack, I have a okay. Right. Yeah. Because I was gonna say, because I have headsets. I have 2 extra headsets. I know what your next birthday present is gonna be. Well, look, I'm sorry for your poor choice of phones. No, I just get you a Bluetooth. I'll get you a Bluetooth. Okay.
All
right, so we are. Yeah, I can hear Durro speaking. Okay, so are we ready? Okay, so you are prepping, setting up, meditating for an hour to do your farseeing, and you
Okay.
are setting through all the steps that you need to do to go ahead and do your farseeing. The problem is the past hour has been so emotionally turbulent for you. It's hard for you to center and focus yourself, and you keep slipping from that perfect place where you can Farsi, but then you kind of consciously wake up, but not physically wake up. And you're in a place that the ground is solid, at least you think it is, but you can't see it. There's a film of haze just around the knees.
Okay.
As you are coming to terms with what you see, walking out of the mist is a tall, dark, cloaked figure's eyes burning radiant like two large red stars staring into your soul. I need you to make an intelligence check.
Okay, hang on.
And for those who joined, just to let you guys know that we are currently running a test on the text chat, or I'm sorry, on the By the Fire. I am downstairs in my living room with Tasara, Ava, Nova, and Hodge, not Hare. And we are trying to do a hybrid live roleplay / online roleplay. If this works and we are successful, then what's going to happen is we're going to be able to use this format for when we are role playing at the live game event.
I rolled an 8.
An 8? Okay. The figure walks forward and you feel a chill running down your back as you have this just unreasonable sense of dread and fear. He stands powerful and radiates, at least from your perception, this aura of darkness and just dread. And as he comes closer, you can see it kind of melting away, coming off of him like black vapors until he's no more further than we are together, roughly about maybe 5 feet. He reaches up to his hood, pulls back the hood, and you see Durro Thaltanis standing before you. His hair, more salt than pepper, age lines around the eyes, and he's definitely seen more years than you remember.
Durro?
Master Anarin,
Well,
he says, smiling.
what are you doing? What? I don't understand.
You will in time, just not right now.
She looks confused but doesn't say anything.
It wasn't how it had been previously.
Wait, it wasn't past tense how it was previously past tense. Wasn't what was. Sorry, that like I'm confused.
He brings his hands up again, and as he pulls reality around him, you see standing before you your insect friend.
Hazad.
And he bows his head, and then he dissipates the illusion.
All right. So you had something to do with what Hazad had seen, and then he said it wasn't this way. Was that you?
Hassad won't remember what transpired.
He won't remember of what transpired of helping me and Haj escape?
Yes.
All right. I don't even know where he is now. I kind of.
Return to his family.
Okay. Where are you?
Right here in front of you.
No, I mean the Master Theltanus that I know that left the Gungnir. Where is he now?
He will be returning to you shortly, which is the reason why I am here with you now.
Oh my god, thank God you are alive.
Of course I'm alive.
Grateful to hear it.
Master Naren, it's time you learn a valuable lesson about being a master. Do you know why we Jedi Masters speak in terms of riddles?
No, but it always has been a source of frustration for me.
As it was for me when I was a Padawan and knight but the reason why masters speak in terms of riddles because we believe in free choice, free will. We believe that individuals make reality what it is. And he takes his hand and he starts to weave fibers around until there's a beautiful connection or interconnection of web. Some fibers come together, forming beautiful, brilliant sparks of light before you, while others just continue along the weave. There is no single current of the Force, Tassara. That's one thing you must understand. There is a web, and he waves his hands, and the web expands exponentially until it literally creates a three-dimensional spider web between you and him, filling the entire 5-foot radius.
She just stares at it in wonder, but does not step backwards.
Here, at this point, he points to where hundreds of threads come together at one point.
Is this
Here
a
is
point in time?
end place.
All right.
This is where we are right now. Well, where you are right now.
On Warkinals in the spaceport, inside the Gungnir.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
All right. And she tries to peer closer at where he's pointing.
You can see it. Like I said, hundreds of threads come together at this singular point. And he takes his hand and he moves the whole illusion to another point where millions of threads come together.
And she's again watching in fascination.
This is the point. Ever so often, the galaxy, the universe as we know it, comes to a singular moment, a moment of rebirth, where the Force brings all of itself back in at one point and releases itself again on the other side. It's a part of a natural cycle, Tassara.
And this is in the future? This particular conjunction, if you will.
It is neither the future nor the past. It is definitely not the present. Remember what I said about riddles.
Right.
And he moves it back to that singular point that he pointed out. Another part of your lesson today. And he hits the thread and cracks and shatters a section of it. There are certain points of incursion. Let me show you. And he brings it up so you can see it much more clearly. It's centered around a world, Olivon.
And she recognizes Olivon without having to roll?
Correct.
Okay.
You're not sure, but you're almost certain he is assisting you through this.
Okay.
You recognize this point, don't you?
It's Olavan.
The web is shattered and cracked, its ripples reaching far.
But if there is no past and there's no future, then the crack that happened, it's impossible to tell when.
Here is where it happened. Look at how the ripples affect. Look at how the cracks affect across the web as he shows you where the ripples and the cracks and the shattering and the different threads move left and right to different points, to different connections.
This has to do with Astra and the pool, doesn't it?
It does.
She changed something. She changed the future. Here, she did it on Olavan.
More than that. Let's move on. And he brings it back to this singular point. And he brings it up closer, and you can see cracks forming.
When these cracks, I don't understand what the cracks are.
They are incursions. They are people, sentient beings attempting to change the current of the force.
More than, wait, there are more people than Astra that can do that?
At one point in time, there was a whole race that could do it.
Oh my, but now? How many are there?
That's a question that you'll learn as you go.
Okay, I trust you, but go on.
If this crack is allowed to continue, this is what will happen. And he brings it all the way back out again, and he manipulates the illusion. And you can see the cracks expand exponentially across the entire 5-foot space between y'all.
All centering out of that one splinter event.
Yes,
Is there a way to stop it?
there is. But there are things you must do for me.
I'm listening.
I have already started down this path. It is important that I continue, but I must take every step accordingly. If I rush, if I deviate, if I don't appear to the will of the Force, no matter how wrong it may feel, I will falter.
Falter on purpose? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't understand the question.
He's saying, out of character, he is saying, even if it sounds wrong or feels wrong, I will falter.
Yes,
So does he mean, even though it feels wrong, he will willingly falter? Or if it feels wrong, he will continue on anyway and not falter?
I must follow the will of the Force.
Well, that is what you've always taught me, Master. Follow the will of the Force. So is that what you are doing right now? Is working on these cracks outside the Gungnir here on Morganals?
Mm. Let's just say I'm correcting several mistakes I made along the way.
And you have found a way to do that. That riddle is, by the way, how you've just worded it makes it sound like you figured out a way how to correct these cracks by correcting them yourself.
Not all cracks can be corrected, but they can be prevented.
And you want me to do the same?
I need you to be there during some of my darkest decisions.
I feel as if I already have been in some ways, but there are likely more to come, just from the way that you are looking at me.
Then explain to me why you feel guilt.
She doesn't speak for a moment, but looks thoughtful.
This isn't because I feel you will fail me. This is to reassure you that where you stand beside me, despite some of my poor choice in words, I have always been proud of you.
That is good to know. Thank you. There are many times where I question my own choices, and just recently I had that. And I do feel guilt from time to time. I am human.
I am aware. Astra cannot, under any circumstances, leave this world in the custody of a Sith Queen.
I fully concur with that.
If the Queen is able to corrupt her power, and he kind of jerks his hands into the illusion, and reality as you see it through this beautiful web shatters.
And it's shocking enough that she gasps. And this point in time is a moment where that will either manifest or not. Am I right?
The Queen has her uses. I am clever enough to know that there are certain Sith alchemies that are beyond the ability of a Jedi, but not beyond our group, that can weave ancient spells to bind contracts.
You're talking about using Sith powers to bind a Sith.
If everything is to be saved from Melora, you need the Sith Queen. It is a very delicate path to walk.
And what about Quinn? Is he involved in that as well, or just her?
The reason why Jedi Masters speak in riddles is because we don't want the guidance to lead the student astray. We want the students to make the right decisions to where the guidance becomes self-evident.
And you have always said to follow the will of the Force and to call upon the Force when I need guidance.
He reaches up and pulls up his hood, starts to step back, and you can see the manifestation of this dark creature before him. And go ahead and roll intelligence again.
Okay, hold on. $18.
As he's backing into the mist, you start to recognize, at least you recognize the description you've heard. You've heard from Astra, you've heard from Ashanti, you even might have heard it from Durro himself. regarding Ashanti's Sith instructor from her holocron.
Aha.
And he vanishes, and you wake back up out of your trance. But you're left with an echoing words from him. The dark side is a path to powers that all consider unnatural, and they echo in your mind.
She sits up and she shudders a little bit because now she wonders if what was speaking to her wore Durro's face, but wasn't Durro at all. But the information that he gave her did actually show her things.
So the scene's not over. Let's transition to the other part of the scene.
Okay.
You were sleeping again, Shara.
I wasn't I? I was dreaming of faraway places and faraway friends.
The children are waiting for you to tell the story.
Well, let's not keep them. And that will end the scene.
What did Tessara? She heard that, but what did she see?
She didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry.
That's the end credit scene.
Feel like I'm at a Marvel movie.
All right, you know what? I'm going to let the recording go for the 30 minutes. If you guys want to talk about that scene, have at it. I'm going to quickly make myself some dinner before we start at 7:30.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if you've been if you were paying attention to Astra and Hodges' thread at all, but
Yeah. Pigs don't fly, so the answer is yes, I certainly was.
that was certainly interesting timing for that particular vision there.
Well, here's the thing. Even if that wasn't actually Durro, it was just this ancient Sith Lord pretending to have Durro's face. I still believe that Astra should not get into the hands of the Sith Queen. I believe that is a thing that should not happen.
Well, both Astras or just one of them?
Thank you. I was just about to say that. I don't know, because here's the thing. Talking as Amy now, not as Tessara. Amy read that whole in between, and Amy knows what's going on outside her Tessara's room. But Tessara only knows that she and Astra agreed to go Farsi, and that it was supposed to take an hour to prep, and then the Farseeing to happen itself between 15 and 30 minutes. And then she'll be exiting her room. She doesn't know any of what Astra saw in her vision. She doesn't know any of what has transpired since she walked into her and shut herself into her room.
Yeah. No, I was just curious. I forgot that Amy and Tessara are, or to specify that was more of an Amy question than a Tessara question.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to think of what just happened. As a player, I'm just confused, as usual.
It's okay. These games.
Durro, what do you think? Oh, he's still on. Oh, there we go.
What-
I just wanted to know what Durro thought.
What do I think about what?
The scene that just transpired. Did you hear any of it?
Yes, I did. I was trying to get the last like 30 minutes of walking in before session though. So I was just listening. I mean, it was interesting. That's for sure.
Do you think it was this ancient Sith lord from who's in the holocron, or do you think it was a future version of Durro somehow perverted?
Yeah. And I'm not sure about perversion.
Well, I say that because he appears to her as older than he is now, but he has all this darkness around him. That's why I say perverted.
Well, with what I, the player, know about the broad strokes about where the story's going, and even to a lesser extent with what Durro was just told by clone Astra, then who's to say that Ashanti's holocron Sith instructor isn't Durro himself?
That's absolutely true.
Oh,
Well
that's
pointed out.
interesting.
If he is able or manipulate the threads outside the confines of time as we experience it, slightly alter even the past a little bit, and who's to say he didn't put that holocron in front of Ashanti, didn't have a hand in creating its contents? Again, he's been likened to a chess player, playing one side of a cosmic chess game. Who's to say these events aren't the pieces he is moving?
Right. And we all remember from Endgame that there was one ending that Doctor Strange saw, but in order to bring that about, he had to let the snap happen. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Could some shadowy, truly evil, corrupted Darksider be wearing Durro's face? Sure. But with what I, again, as a player mostly, know about where the story's headed, it could just as easily have been Durro taking the guise of such a figure for whatever reason.
Well, Tessara's had much better success far seeing into the past than into the future because the past has already happened and therefore is easier to read. So her idea had been, Astra, you look into the future because you're better at that. I'll look into the past because I'm better at that. But I only rolled a 12. So that's what I got.
To dismiss what you saw as inaccurate or incomplete because you rolled a 12 is metagaming.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm just pointing it out.
Right. I'm just cautioning against that.
I also want to ask this question. Does anybody remember Ashanti's Sith master?
No.
His name?
I don't think you
I
ever
remember
gave
his
us his
physical
name.
description, but I don't think you gave us his name.
Oh, I did, and you even chuckled at it, Durro.
Oh, well, remind me then. I do not remember.
It is Darth Maximus.
That's right. I did chuckle at that. That does sound familiar.
Sounds like somebody's ego is getting a check. Darth Maximus. Good heavens.
Yes, but if my theory that Ashanti was being brought into play as a chess piece by, Durro pulling strings, outside of time, then it kind of is funny because the holocron wouldn't show anything of value while Durro was sitting there. Would only show these things to Ashanti privately. I can almost picture future Durro looking at his past self going, "What are you doing here? You don't need to see any of these things. Go, shoot."
Yep.
I need to protect your poor virgin eyes from these dark secrets.
I'll bet anything that Ashanti has been using the holocron without Durro's knowledge.
As is right and proper.
It's possible. I do know Traveler and I had discussed her lessons a little bit out of character, but as far as in character goes, they were at an impasse and were taking a break right before Origin. Of course, the friends weren't accessible on Origin, and we have not revisited it in character since then. So it is entirely possible Ashanti has been using the holocron on her own without Durro's permission or knowledge.
Well, just to clarify, Durro had just found out prior to before Origin, that he did discover that she had been using it. He just never got around to being able to confront her about it. So I will remind the character, yes, he knows that Ashanti had been using it for at least several weeks without his knowledge.
And I know how the holocron can pull one over Durro. I think because of the Sith holocron, it knows what's in front of it. It sees Durro in front of it. It will go give only the information that it wants to give him. Therefore, giving him the impression of the information that he's seeing. And then once he walks away, giving Ashanti the actual information.
Right. I actually don't remember confirming that Ashanti was using it without Durro's knowledge. I remember her expressing that desire, and in our out-of-character discussions of her training, I remember saying that Durro was willing to listen to an argument if she wanted to argue her case with him, but I didn't remember that actually happening, nor did I remember getting confirmation in character or out of character on behalf of the character that she actually was going behind his back. It would not surprise me, and I can justify it as him being really busy with the girls and their teachings, but I don't remember it.
That's fine. I will clarify so just to refresh your memory. What tipped Durro off that she was using it without his permission was that when he first had that suspect, he planted a trap. I forget what it was. It was something stupid like a hair or something on the holocron, and then he came back, the next day to find it had moved. There was something clever that Durro did.
Yeah, I do remember that. Something imperceptible that nobody would look for to put back exactly, and he was looking for it.
Right. So he did have that confirmation. He had every plan, but unfortunately, Origin happened, and he didn't have a chance to confront her.
Right, and then by the time she and the others were accessible again, it was nearly a month later. Him being busy with the girls' education, he probably just didn't think about
it. Got a student. That's so bad.
What now?
Yeah, what now?
I missed whatever was said.
Oh, I said he forgot about his student. That is so bad. And a Sith student, no less. I'm gonna give her the keys to the car and actually not tell her how to use it, but wow, look, there she goes down the street.
No, it's like that 2.5 Men meme. You know, where the one is like, I feel like I forgot something. And the other one's like, yeah, if it's important, you'll remember. And then you see a picture of the kid standing outside of school in the rain, and it's dark.
Uh-huh.
I sure am going to be interested to see what happens when Tessara leaves her room and what she will find has been happening while she's been in her room.
Yeah.
I have another meme to illustrate that. The guy, the room's on fire, several people are fighting, and he's just standing there like, what the heck did I come back to?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I feel like that's Durro anytime he returns from an absence from the party.
Not every time, just
a lot
mostly. Mostly.
Right, most of the time.
Well, we really did, to maintain some semblance of order. It just
went to hell
it
and
didn't
came
happen.
back.
I was trying to find a more diplomatic way to say that, but yeah.
There is no diplomatic way to say that. You just gotta get it out and hope people don't get angry.
I love how future Durro put a muzzle on current Durro, coming down on Tessara for staying behind to wait for him. I thought that was fascinating.
Did he?
Just a little. Sure looked that way.
How
Lost you, Wander.
I said, how do you figure? Because I was wondering the same thing. Like I was wondering if I broke up at some point on my walk and missed something.
Side.
It was always been proud of you. Why do you feel guilty? There were several buzzwords that dropped about softening the blow, specifically for this choice, but obviously for choices that have been made in the past and ones that will be made again in the future.
Yeah, I really have no idea if that's what he meant. He did say those things, but it was too vague to be ascribed to any one thing, in my opinion.
Which are the most perfect lessons a master can pass on. The ones that are so vague that the student can apply them to anything. Because then years later, the student comes back and is like, remember when you said XYZ? You were totally right. I was in ABC situation and I thought of your teachings and it really helped. And the master is just like, yes, that is exactly what I meant. Well remembered.
Why does the master speak in riddles?
Because that way, when he's vague about everything, it applies to all the things.
Yep.
How Buddhist of you.
I do have a Buddhist build. Well, at least all the images of Buddha, not the actual Buddhist monks.
I was gonna say, wasn't Siddhartha like built like my pinky?
Yeah, like I said, no, not the Buddhist monks. Heck no.
Working on that. That's
Built
working.
more-
This
So
work in progress.
my only criticism at the end was Hadassah was supposed to have a much older voice, but it's okay.
No. Let's put a big old fat caveat on the fact that you were like, "This is what you're gonna say, not how the fuck you're gonna say it."
Guilty as charged. But
We're also gonna go into the idea of, oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that out in public.
It certainly was an interesting end scene. So Tassara heard that, but she didn't see anything. Tassara didn't hear or see any of that. Okay, can someone please clarify with me?
Okay, so the part between Hadassah and Durro at the end had nothing to do with Tassara. She wasn't there for that. She didn't hear it. She didn't see it. It was an elderly Hadassah going over to her loving husband, waking him from his comfy chair. Ah, you fell asleep again. Oh, yes, I did. I was dreaming of faraway places and long forgotten friends. Come, the children are waiting for your stories.
Yeah, it was the use of the word layer that confused me. Oh, she said Shada? Okay.
Yeah, it was an Easter egg for our next game. I've noticed Traveler has been sprinkling those in quite frequently.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, headsets are going to be the order of the day.
Yeah.
Work for her. She doesn't have a plug. I will say this much. I am actually really happy with the results so far. I just want to see how the recordings are going to play out. And if I can find a way to do this, I want to set up a wireless camera so that Traveler Bot can, live stream the room. True.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But I don't want to have to listen to Durro talking through a Mandalorian helmet.
Yeah, well, Durro does not do having his image taken, so
Astra doesn't care, so you'll at least get her.
Well, we've played in the room, though, with Astra, so we can get an idea of what your expressions are, but we have not yet done that with Durro.
That's true.
Yeah, I said this is the way he has to wear a helmet.
yeah, you want Durro's facial expressions, just look at a picture of a Mandalorian helmet. There you go.
Or wait until Georgia,
Yep.
because you're not gonna wear that freaking helmet in Georgia, are you?
He is.
Not the whole time.
This is the way.
Hold on.
I'll conspire with Charlotte. We'll figure out how to how to pull some kind of crazy prank on him.
That is not the way.
Oh, I was considering convincing Charlotte to help me figure out how to take scissors to your hair. That would drive you up a wall, I'll bet. Then I'm like, no, that's a little too mean.
To what? You broke up. I
Your
missed what you
hair.
said.
Okay, I have rare images of Astra at the last gaming event. These are all legitimate images.
Oh,
Okay.
God, please don't post those.
And this is exactly her expressions during the last live game event.
Fuck. Oh, seriously? Go fuck yourself, Mike.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I can see it.
I
Mike
can't
is
wait
a
till
little
October
too
and I
good.
can be in the room with y'all.
Mike is a little too good and has a little too much fun with winding Kitty up.
Yeah, it's his favorite pastime.
I'm not gonna lie, it has become my favorite pastime.
The only issue, Kitty, is when you take him seriously.
Believe me, I'm well aware. I was literally worked myself up to a ridiculous degree between the two choices that Astra had, and I'm like, there's no third option. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm losing my character. Fuck you, Mike. And yeah, I've learned that there is another option, and yeah. Just
Apparently,
fuck you,
there's
Mike.
always a third road. We just can't always see it.
Yeah. That's because Mike makes these ridiculous freaking puzzles that make no goddamn sense that you would have to know some kind of obscure knowledge or ask just the right question to get the answer to.
Mike is the captain of the Kobayashi Maru. Duh.
No, he's the captain of the Klingon ships that you're fighting.
That's not entirely fair. These are not that complicated. All you have to do is just know your character and be true to your character. That depends on your perception.
I can say that is true. How many times has Durro put himself in a situation where even I, the player, am like, yeah, this is where he dies, but at least he goes out selflessly sacrificing himself like a Jedi should, and then he comes back. But, you know, his actions are in character, so there's that.
True statement. You see, sadly Hadaza cannot say it was done selflessly. Oh wait, yes she can. Every time she takes the wound damage, has her ass handed to her like with a cactus and some hot sauce. At least she can say, I did it in service. I noticed with irony that Hodge is the only one taking. I'm looking right at Sarah. I noticed that Hodge is the only one ever taking damage.
Yeah, there is that.
Astra's taking damage.
I mean, that is in character for Hodge. She is a little bit of a fetishist.
Do not convolute a player with the character. She's a sensualist. She's not a fetishist. And just because she finds both genders sensual, besides, she has to kind of take it easy with Durro. I mean, virginal monk that he is. If she was to whip out all the big guns right away.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, but out of all of us, she definitely is the one that has taken the most wound damage since we've met her.
That she is. She's also the one that runs headlong into the freaking wall, gets hurt, and then goes, "Why did I get hurt?" because you ran into a freaking wall.
Okay, no, she does not run into walls. She runs into storms. Get it right. Storms move. Walls don't.
Well,
Besides, and
I
she was pushed
equating
into the last wall.
I was
She
equating the
tried
storm to a wall.
she tried to walk away from the last one. She tried very diplomatically to find her way out of that last scenario, and she didn't run into the wall. She was pushed.
Hey, does Haj actually have diplomacy or friendship?
Friendship, yeah, absolutely.
Is there a reason you didn't try using it? If they already knew you were force sensitive,
Because she's a freaking marshmallow and has like you gotta remember she's a mouse playing with gods. She could try friendship. Chances are really good. All she'll do is aggravate them and end up with her face smashed into a wall.
She at that happened anyways.
Right?
She should have just gone for it.
Besides, I mean, they already think she's a Jedi and she's trying to deny it like hell. The first time she like waves her little fingers in front of them and goes, "I am not the Jedi you're looking for." They're gonna fucking lift her up by her hair and bend her over the table right there in the bar. Apply cactus here.
They already did that. Like
Yeah,
they did
see?
that anyways. You might as
They
well have tried.
yes, but
yeah, well,
there isn't going to be a next time, please.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe is Hanj gonna be
she
dumb enough to put herself in that situation again?
let's just take it to one moment where she's agreeing with Ashanti. Okay, does that tell you anything about Hodge's state of mind right now? That she's agreeing with Ashanti? It has finally dawned on her in very bodily cavity ways that she is a mouse playing with gods.
Good point.
Might have been me. I did weird things. If my phone is doing weird things.
Ah, we lost it to Sara.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
So many Pokemon cards.
Da 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 da.
So we're doing some kind of like technological woo-hoo over here. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Lily? Okay. How about now, Lily? Can you hear me now? Okay, good. She can hear me now. She's sitting in front of me, waving her hand up and down. So,
Ah.
All right, we are just about 2 minutes till the end of our intermission before before our game begins.
Oh, it is.
All right, so before we begin, there's a couple of things I want to bring up to everybody's attention. If you are a level 10 character or higher, you guys can PM me questions that, in mechanical terms, are you asking me, holy crap, Mike, this is really killing me, help me out. And game mechanics, it's calmly thinking about things and seeing something that's not obvious to everybody else. 10. This represents the growing wisdom of masters.
Okay.
okay.
All right, so are we ready?
Almost.
Okay, I have an almost. I have
Depending.
silence from Durro.
Oh, I was just going to say, are you ready, kids?
I,
I'm only a level 9 still.
when are we starting? I mean, where are we starting?
I will be starting on the Gungnir.
Kenobi! No, nobody on the Hondo.
Sorry about that. I was distracted by a fight between the toddler and the wife. He often wins.
I think he cheats.
So she's like, "Are you done?" And he's like, "Yes." So she's like, "Okay, let's go take a bath." He's like, "No," because he wants to stay out and hang out with Amy and Lily. And so finally, I'm like, "All right, if you're not done, eat." So what he's to do? He picks up a single low lane, no lawn. What the fuck are those noodles? Lo mein noodle, and starts sucking on. I know. Durro, do you have any questions before we begin? You've been traveling with this clone for about 45 minutes through the caverns, through the sewage systems. You may have observed or received some type of clarification, i.e., if you ask me a question, I will be happy to answer it.
Durro has been deep in thought for most of this time. So, but still looking around, still keeping his senses alert. So, I mean, this clone, just re-clarifying the important points, she does feel identical to the Astra that they are traveling with, right?
To say identical would be an understatement. As far as Durro can sell through the Force, this is Astra. This is the Astra he met first on Backlid and ever since.
Curious.
This is nothing like he's ever experienced before when dealing with clones.
And she feels like he has been her master despite not having been physically with him since Praxis Prime.
She feels like she feels like she has always been true to the teachings and the principle of being his Padawan.
But she has all the same memories as our Astra. Like if clone Astra that's with Durro was to stand in front of Tassara, and Tassara look at her and say, when I first met you, what did I do? This Astra, this clone, would remember.
The answer is yes. She would remember all the way up to Raxus. After Raxus, that's where the memories deviate. Because in her mind, she had been captured by the Crusade and never released.
Yeah, it was the clone that was released in her mind.
Yes, because the Crusade wants to kill or hurt her master. Any other questions, Durro? Am I communicating? Okay. Oh, his family came in. That's why he's not answering. Okay, I understand. Just an announcement for everybody. I am on my phone, so if you send a message in text chat by the fire, or if anybody sees a message in text chat by the fire, please feel free, if it's something important like that, to let me know, because I don't necessarily see it. All right, so we are going to begin on the Gungnir. Please respond in the text chat by the fire if everybody is ready with a affirmative answer.
Affirmative.
I have a yes. I have 2 yeses. I have 3 yeses. I have 4 yeses. Okay. So now all places are set. Tassara, you've come out of your vision. You're centering yourself. It was kind of an emotional vision, and that's why it took you a little longer to get into it. It took you a few moments to center yourself to get out of it. When everybody hears the klaxons on the Gungnir going off and Cheerie's voice coming over the intercom, everybody to the bridge?
What's going on?
Hodge just takes off running.
What did you miss, Kitty?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Astra and Hodge were already on the bridge because that's where their in between had left them heading to.
Yeah,
Heading toward,
heading
but
to.
not necessarily there.
Oh, well then Astra's gonna take off in a sprint after Hodge.
Okay, so Hodge and Astra will arrive shortly before Tassara, but not enough to delay. As you guys get to the bridge, you see Cheery looking down, or down in the landing blivet, observing the flight deck around the Gungnir, and you can see hordes of troops centering on the Gungnir.
What are they doing?
Forming a line roughly about 200 meters away from the Gungnir. They're supported by droids and heavy walkers.
Okay, when you say a line, the Gungnir is circular.
Yep.
So are they circling the underbelly of the Gungnir?
Not the underbelly, but 200 meters off the Gungnir, they're forming a ring around it. You see a couple of shuttles landing and more troops disembarking.
Time's up.
Is the ship is it powered up and ready to fly if Tassara gives the thumbs up to fly?
No, Cheery and Hodge powered it down.
There's your answer.
But we were stationed on the bridge in order to get it powered up quick to get out of here.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't. Handyman called her off the bridge.
Okay, hang on a second. Player just needs a moment. You said these are a combination of men. Are these the Sith guards that she would have seen trying to take Hodge and droids?
Yes.
They're here.
So Tassara turns to a handyman. Is Gungnir with him?
Gungnir is on the ship. Or on the bridge, sorry.
She turns to them and asks if they have a smuggler's container or a place to put smuggling. Like, would the girls fit in a place like that?
There are places, but they're not environmental.
So there's no air going to them.
As long as the Gungnir remains in atmosphere, there's no threat.
But if they could sense them being force sensitive, they have no way to protect themselves from that because they don't have force stealth.
It's line of sight.
Are we sure it's line of sight?
No.
Out of character, would Tassara know the answer to that question, Michael?
Tassara would know the answer to that question. No, it's not line of sight.
Okay, so they could put basically feelers out to sense if there's anyone who is force sensitive in the area.
Correct.
That out of character, that contradicts what you told us during the last game.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too, which is why I am also confused.
You said it was line of sight. Because if Hodge...
Which force ability are we talking about?
Whatever the guards used to catch...
They used C-Force.
Mm-hmm.
That is line of sight.
Okay. So
Sense is not.
So they have something else that they're using. These are not the same guards, or they're... Who popped off? These are not the similar guards. These are something more advanced.
I can only tell you what you see.
Fair enough.
So Tassara looks at Handyman and Gungnir. Are we able to power up and fly away? Not necessarily out to space, but just fly away without taking serious damage.
The engines are currently powered down due to the overhaul. It would take 10 minutes to power them up. 10 minutes, we would not have shields.
And if they saw us powering up, they would likely fire and we would take damage.
Yes, but the Gungnir has armor.
So can you give me an estimate about how much damage we might take, even with armor, before we can power up and fly away?
Who are you talking to?
Sorry, Handyman and Gungnir both.
Gungnir will stand there for a second, and Handyman will remain quiet. Just at the edge of our sensors is 2 flights of Sith fighters.
Just that's not really an answer to Tassara's question, so she's waiting to see if there's more information coming.
It is possible. However, you can absolutely expect that we will take damage.
What about Durro's shuttle? Is there a way to power that up and fly it out of the Gungnir without them realizing the shuttle has been powered up?
That is possible, but that would require us abandoning the Gungnir.
Yes, but if we fly away on the shuttle, there's no reason for them to attack the Gungnir if we're not on it.
There is absolutely a reason for them to attack the Gungnir. Durro's shuttle will only carry so many passengers, and it'll only go for so long. The Gungnir will be is a long-range ship. It's a long-range bird, and without it, if we leave, they'll destroy it, and we're stranded here.
Yeah.
If some of us were to take the shuttle and some of us remain on the Gungnir, if the attention was on the shuttle and they took off after us on the shuttle, and somebody else stayed behind on the Gungnir to power it up and fly away, would that cause enough of a distraction using the shuttle?
That is possible, but you'll need to split the pilots. One for the shuttle, one for the Gungnir.
Handyman and Gungnir, can you pilot either one of them or both?
Gungnir nods. I am capable of flying the Gungnir. However, I am not as skilled as a flesh and blood pilot.
So she looks over at Hodge and Cheery, because are they standing next to each other?
No, Cheery's still watching what's going on
Okay.
down in the lower bridge.
So Cheery and Hodge, you are skilled at flying the shuttle, am I correct?
I am not.
But Cheery is.
Yes. We also have the escape pods that we can jettison if we need to put up a distraction.
But if we jettison the escape pods off of the Gungnir, won't they just out of character? I have to ask the technical question that Amy doesn't know the answer to. To me, an escape pod just shoots out of the ship and into space because they're intended to be used in space. If the ship is on the ground and we jettison off even one of those escape pods, wouldn't it just fall to the ground?
Once we take off and are in flight, once the Gungnir is in flight, you can go in, set it, correct me if I'm wrong, set autopilot on the escape pods and jettison the escape pod to take off on a specific trajectory. If we do it with both of them and the shuttle, but there are only 2 flights of Sith in the air, we can assume that they will go after 2, not 3 of the things that are out there, and they won't know which ones are the decoy. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she looks at Handyman.
It is possible. Odds are not in our favor. You hear Cheery screaming, Hodge, 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 come here, come here, come here.
She goes barreling up to the little girl.
Okay, so both of you are now in the lower bridge area, which gives a beautiful panoramic view of around the front of the ship. And you see Shiri pointing. Give me a spot check.
Damn it. 17.
Okay, so 17 modified by the fact that she's assisting you by pointing. You get a 19. You see Durro standing next to somebody wearing some type of fighter pilot jumpsuit with a helmet on. But you see Durro. But more importantly, about 45 degrees off of that, you also see your Sith girlfriend. And she's making no effort to advance on the Gungnir. More or less, she's giving directions to complete the encirclement.
Haj, what do you see?
Durro, by the way, is standing just inside a hangar. And pause on you guys. Durro,
Yeah.
you guys have just crawled out of the sewers, and you immediately take notice of combat craft landing and debarking troops. And you guys kind of move over to get a better view, and she puts her helmet on and starts adjusting the optics on the helmet, giving you detailed information, which I'm about to give you. You know, it looks like there's about 300 Sith warriors, complemented by another 500 droids that are completely encircling the Gungnir. They're in the process of making the encirclement now. They're supported by 4 heavy walkers.
Then he would tell her quietly, "Well, not that way."
They'll look over at you. Master, Tessara is in there. I can feel her.
Yes, she is. But unless you plan on gently nudging aside one of those Sith troops and just politely saying, "Excuse me," we cannot get aboard.
He kind of stands up, and Hodge, you are observing this from afar. You can't hear it, but you're observing it. She stands up, puts her hands on her hips, and looks right at you through the helmet. Master Thaltanis, rule number 1, she says, holding up a finger to you. When on the run from the enemy, one must always know. And she kind of pauses a little bit, waiting for you to fill it in, and then she says, the landscape around us. And then she points to the Gungnir. Give me a spot check, Durro.
That sounded needlessly aggressive, but okay.
She
19.
says it completely playful.
No, you saying to give you a spot check. I said that was needlessly aggressive.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure that she was not being mistaken. She was absolutely being completely overly dramatically comical and playful with you.
Yes, and Duro would have raised an eyebrow while looking and said, clearly someone was not listening. Rule number 1 is don't wander off.
I thought I was being funny. By the way, what was your spot check?
19.
Okay. Just shy of one of the landing struts on the Gungnir, about maybe 10 meters from the Gungnir, is one of those manhole covers into the sewers.
Right. Well, if you want to have words with Tessara, then there are other ways to get aboard the ship.
You can't see her face, but you can sense her happiness. I told you we don't leave our own behind.
Yes, yes, you're very smart. Now, back into the sewer.
Indeed. Lead the way, master.
Okay, I
And
have an out of character question when Durro is done with talking.
Holding for Durro.
sorry, my niece is being difficult. Anyway, as best he can, he will lead on.
Okay. I have an out of character question from Tisara. Go ahead.
Are both Clone Astra and Durro using Force stealth? Because they were just standing there chit-chatting, and they are Force sensitive. So if all of those guards or anybody really is using C-Force, they would light up like a balloon.
You're right.
So are they?
I can't answer for the NPC. The player can answer for his own character. And there's a reason why I can't answer, because Tisara's not looking, but Hodge is. And the question was asked to Hodge. Hodge, what do you see?
I see, and you can hear the hiccup and the hitch in her voice. I see Durro. I see Durro. He's there with someone. I can't see her face, and they're not far from here. They're
Go upstairs.
and she turns up over her shoulder. She's leading the troops. She's down there leading the troops, and can Hodge see them moving back into the hangar?
Yes, you can see them turn.
And they're walking away. They're going back inside the hangar.
So
Does the array of men, do they turn? Do they notice Durro at all? So he's escaping their detection. They don't see him. They don't know he's there.
Now, let me pause right now, because there's a mechanical question.
If Tisara is aboard the Gungnir and she's not employing Force stealth, and she feels safe enough to see Hodge through the Force, then yes. I mean,
Slow down.
okay. Roll C-Force. Right. Okay, so Tisara tips she pulls her comlink up, and she pings Durro on a text message and says, "We can see you. Where are you going?" and sends it.
Does he get it before the signal dies completely?
Well, you haven't entered the sewer yet. So this is literally as you guys are moving through the hangar outside of visual sight of everybody. So feel free to act as if you are not observed. Yep. We are on hold for Durro's family.
Okay. Please stand by. So Tassara says he says he's attempting to come aboard, but they're walking away. So she turns over and looks at Gungnir. If Master Theltanus wanted to board the ship, is there another way other than coming up the loading ramp?
Oh, yes, there's the matter transmitter.
The what?
The what now?
The matter transmitter. And you hear Handyman start, ha, 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 ha,
What is so funny?
ha.
Gungnir is attempting at humor.
It is prescribed that during high-stress situations that humor often breaks the stress. Of course there's other ways in the loading ramp. There are 6 airlocks and 7 personal access points across the Gungnir. Some of them are currently on the ground. Some of them are currently on the upper levels and roof or ceiling of the Gungnir.
Do we know
So
what's directly under the Gungnir?
10 meters out, there's a manhole cover.
You can literally see it from where you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I can see it, that means that the troops that are surrounding the ship could see it as well. They would see him climb out and try to board the Gungnir. Looking to the storyteller for confirmation of that assessment.
You are correct.
I figured.
And worse than that, the troops directly in line of sight are those particular troops are sitting on a heavy weapons mount. You're not sure what it is, but it definitely looks like a crew serve weapon that could make short work of anyone coming out of that manhole cover.
So Tassara,
are
go ahead.
any of those access ports laying directly on the ground? Because we could take
Gungnir
one
brings
of those
up
and open it.
Gungnir brings up a schematic of the ship in that area. There is a crew service hatch right here that enters into the engine's cowling 5 meters away.
Durro is saying that he has an observation question, so let me read it when he posts it. Hang on. Did Durro see that the hole is exposed?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
That access port is laying directly on the ground, correct?
It's not laying on the ground. It's on the engine cowling right here.
He says, because I was under the impression that it was hidden from view.
It is hidden from partial view, but not all view.
Okay.
Hang on. Think through the problem before you abandon it.
I'm not abandoning it. I have questions.
Yes.
Okay. So Tassara is listening to all of this between Astra and Gungnir. Chiri and Hodge are watching what is happening. And Tassara will type out another message to Durro and say, we can cause a distraction if you can find a way in.
Okay. Your girlfriend is approaching under a white flag.
A white flag? Oops.
He says, he replies to Tassara, says, I have a way in. When I give the signal, employ the same trick we used last time.
What trick was that?
Polling the party because all of us are looking confused. Michael's tapping his thumb to his nose, but the rest of us are like, what the hell is he talking about?
So polling the party, what was the trick we used last time?
Sorry, give me an intelligence check.
I think what she's asking is pulling the Durro.
I know,
Yeah.
but I don't want to rob this from agency from Tessara. She should know this.
7.
Okay.
It would be nice if Durro could answer possibly the poll, but I know he might be busy with family.
She of the exquisite memory.
Right? Oh, right. So something is wrong with the ship ploy. And yes, we were waiting on you to see what the trick was. I had pulled the party. Was Nova right when she said about Shakun's ship and Durro and Ryan?
Yes.
He did. He did roll us for intelligence check. I rolled a 7.
Sherry looks up.
Tessara.
Okay, sorry. What trick was that? Was it the smoke? Okay.
But says Cherry. Hold on. Yeah. But won't they start shooting if we start doing crazy things? I mean,
They may
I
not
have an
shoot if
idea
it looks
for
like a
distraction that does not cause this, but it is also Durro giving instructions. So I had the idea of asking Ashanti to exit the ship because she is not she can appear to look real, but she isn't. If we send someone off the ship, if she is willing to do this, of course, then we might be able to distract them long enough to be able to get Durro on the ship. If we start throwing smoke bombs, Chiri's not wrong. They could just start firing at us.
Ashanti speaks up finally. Why don't we go talk to the Sith? I'll go. And the has-been can come with me. She's the most expendable.
No.
So you would risk our senior officer? Or maybe the one thing they want more than anything else? Choose somebody else then. How about the child? Is that a better
Absolutely
suggestion?
not.
Stop being emotional. The has-been knows I'm right. She's silent, which is a tall tale for her.
Shantae, can you please be nice?
This is me being nice.
We can have it both ways. Start up the ship. Play off the steam and the fog as mechanical failure.
So Tessara
that way we don't have to worry about them firing if they don't think we can go anywhere. But they will assume that we are trying, but when it goes wrong and the steam and the smoke starts billowing out, they will think we're stuck. That buys us cover to get the 10 minutes we need for the shields to be active, so that when Durro gets on board and Ashanti gets me back on board, we can leave. This woman knows who I am.
which is the reason why she needs to come. However, there is nowhere to go. That option is no longer with us. And if we feign an engine malfunction again, they'll know it's a ruse. So, why don't we tell them we're ready to leave and have them order us to shut down? She turns to Gungnir. Clearly, shutting the engines down will produce exhaust, right? And Gungnir reacts almost like in shock and embarrassment. I beg your pardon. My systems are perfectly operational. And Ashanti looks aggravated.
Yes, Gungnir. It is not a reflection on you. I believe the Helvete was making an inference to exhaust problems when we try to shut down as a means to create a smokescreen.
Well, wait.
Tassara will text Durro another message and say, should we power up your shuttle?
I have a question.
Answer.
That's Astra talking to Tassara and Hodge.
Oh, go ahead.
Guys, if they can find
What's
a
up?
way onto the ship, then we can get off in the same manner.
Do you need my help with anything?
Mike, we can hear you.
Why not leave the Gungnir here and leave the ship?
Through the same means that we're talking about allowing Durro and back onto the ship, you're saying for us to leave the ship under the same kind of cover.
Exactly. It would require us to move quickly, but it would get everyone out of Dodge temporarily. They'd search the ship, find no one, and probably leave guards.
And then they may destroy it. Did we not just have this conversation?
I don't know. They might leave it as a trap for us to come back to.
Or, Tassara is waiting on a message from Durro.
The longer we stand here debating this, the closer they are going to get, and the less likely we are to get out of it. Sadly, I think the Helvete may be right.
All right.
Tassara, you're in charge. You're the one who has to make this call.
Hold, please.
Are we holding for Durro's reply? Okay. Then I will pause. Is he typing? Give the man a chance. He's
Okay.
Wi-Fi died.
He says his Wi-Fi died. Lily, can you read what his message said for those who can't see it? Okay, I didn't hear that over Discord. Did you mean to do it over Discord?
The shuttle is too small and not well enough armored to run a blockade. We would be shot out of the sky before we broke Atmo.
So Tassara she looks at Ashanti and she says, "Swear to me you will not let anything happen to Haj."
I cannot.
Swear to me you'll do everything in your power to not allow the harm to come to Haj.
I cannot. My loyalties and my existence is to defend Astra. If Hodge must die for Astra to live, that is what I will do. Beyond that, as long as the has-been plays her part, she'll survive.
Tasara looks over at Haj to get her read on this.
She's absolutely expressionless.
She looks over at Gungnir. Is there a way to project a question to these people outside? Like on an intercom or something?
It appears they wish to speak to us. There's already a delegation of 2 waiting near the ramp. It is not in direct line of sight for the access that the captain wishes to use to reboard the ship.
Okay, so Tasara turns and starts heading towards whatever door would lead her. And she turns back and she says, make sure that Durro gets on this ship.
Tasara?
What? I'm going to speak to them myself.
You are a fool, says Ashanti.
No.
I cannot be destroyed. The has-been has no value.
Then-
You are second in command. You are the second most powerful force user here. It is the right call to risk those of limited expense.
And then you won't go by yourself, but you're the only one that cannot be injured. You want to take Haj with you as what? As an insurance policy against what? She's already been injured once today. I will not have it again.
Your attachments are clouding your judgment. As you said, they know her.
Yes, and they'll know her, and they'll just snatch her up again and take her away.
Which is why I'll be there.
No.
Yeah, you just
just
said that you
said
couldn't
you wouldn't
guarantee her
protect her.
safety.
You're right.
She starts heading for the door again. She's pissed. She starts heading for the door again. I'm going to go talk to them.
You're making a mistake.
She turns around and looks at you. I made a mistake already today, several of them. I'm not putting your life at risk again just to make what she thinks is right. She could go out there and destruct them by herself without any damage to anybody, and she's choosing not to. It is her choice to choose not to, but it's my choice to go out and represent this delegation.
If they wanted me dead, they would have killed me then.
I don't believe it.
Let's have a point there.
She continues to head for the door.
Ashanti.
Unless somebody's going to physically stop her or Tasara's going to stop, she's going to hit the door and then leave the scene.
Astral, try to stop her. Hold on.
How?
You are not thinking straight.
We don't have any time, Astra. They want
More.
you.
Take a deep breath.
Oh.
You are
Walks
too
over to
emotional
Ashanti,
right
gives her she looks at Ashanti. Oops.
You can't make sound decisions while you are emotional like this. Calm down. Ashanti, why is it that you can't go out there on your own? You'd be walking out from this ship. They'd know you were representing us.
Tasara stands there and looks at Ashanti one more time to see if she will if she responds to Astra's question.
I apologize. I missed the question.
Astra, can you ask it again?
Ashanti, why can't you go out there on your own? If you walk out of this ship, they know you're representing us and part of this group. You
Yes,
wouldn't need
you're
Hod
right.
as proof.
You're right. There's only one problem. She looks to Hodge. Why is the sight of this representative so troubling to you?
Hang on, I'm confused. Can you say what she asked again?
She looked to Hodge and said, "Why is this representative so concerning to you?" That's why Hodge must go. If you are to ever be considered more than has been, to know that we can trust you in battle, don't you think you should face your fears? But then again, let Tassara continue to protect you and coddle you, no different than you have coddled Astra. Go, speak to them. We'll wait here, if you return, and then we'll be absent both of our most powerful force users.
Out of character, how close is Durro to the entrance to the manhole cover by this point?
You would not know that. So I cannot answer that.
I'm not a threat to them, Tassara. You are. Astra most definitely is. You need to protect Astra. And this woman has already taken my measure.
So what good would it do to send you out there with her? You are flesh and blood and bone, and you can be hurt again, and she is not.
And I will heal. I heal faster than either of you. You got a message.
Tassara will look at Gungnir and Handyman. Please make arrangements to allow Durro to get onto the ship as quickly and as stealthily as possible. Haj, if you feel you can go along with the Helveta and trust her, and she doesn't trust you, obviously. But if you want to do
her
this,
either.
then go out and cause a distraction and try and survive this to get back on this ship.
She doesn't want me dead. The conversation is over. If he's ready to come on board, let's do this.
He's asking if we're ready. I don't want to say yes yet because I don't want him to pop out of a manhole cover when there's no distraction happening yet. So she looks at Ashanti. Go. Are you going with her? Okay, so the two of them are getting. Oh, I'm waiting. Michael is typing.
All right, so Hodge, Ashanti heads out there. I'll give you this, Hasbin. You are brave. Foolish, but brave.
Both of those things are true.
And you guys walk down the loading ramp towards the emissaries. Droids are still putting stuff away. There's maintenance droids still working on everything. And as you guys start to work your way through the cargo bay, you see Ashanti reach out, and from a fake panel, right where you train regularly, it flies open, and a lightsaber comes into her hand, and she attaches it to what appears to be a belt on her hip.
Seems you've been hiding things on my ship.
I've been hiding many things.
Can't say I'm surprised.
And she walks out. So, are you going to tell me why you are so afraid of this woman?
Does it matter?
No. If you're my slave, I should at least know why my slave is terrified of this woman.
She knows you're not my master. How would you play that?
But now, she knows. Tessar is right about one thing. I will not risk I will not risk Astra's safety for your life.
I know that.
But they don't. And that's all we have to make sure they believe.
Do you really think? She smiles nastily. Yes, you do. All right. Your property has been violated and vandalized at the hands of this woman.
Thank you. And she walks up. I bear a message from the Sith Queen, says your girlfriend. Before we deal with messages, says Ashanti, we have a little bit of business to attend to. You are... Oh, I just figured out my mistake. All my notes are upstairs.
Hang on, I'll come up with her name pretty quick.
She has a name.
I know she does. No, I'm aware. I'm going to dig for it. Hang on.
Give me a second, guys.
Because I remember seeing that. Oh, I'm in the wrong freaking gimme. I'm like, why is this not giving me her picture? It's like... Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Vania.
That's right.
Like, God damn it, it's Vina all over again. Stupid.
I am Vania. And this is, and she goes to introduce her male companion, just as Asante draws her lightsaber and runs him through. Everybody is observing this from the bridge.
I don't think that's what we meant by a distraction, but okay.
I believe your abuse of my property has been settled. And Vania is gripping her lightsaber. Unless you disagree, Vania. And she's still holding her activated lightsaber as the man who had once been standing next to her crumples to the ground. You said you had a message?
Sorry. So Tessara says, is the hatch open to Gungnir? And
Yeah.
hold on a second, everybody.
The hatch is unlocked.
So Tessara is going to message Durro. I'm going to type it in text chat by the fire.
Vina activates her lightsaber and goes to strike Ashanti. Or at least that's what it appeared at first. It's faint. The blow was coming for Hodge, only to be blocked by Ashanti's blade. The two of them go into combat. I should have known that there was a Sith amongst you Only a Sith could have escaped Quinn. I should have known that there was at least a has-been amongst them. I'm familiar with their scent. Yes.
They're engaged in combat?
Yes.
Can we get away with this?
In the text chat by fire, do you see what's happening, Mike?
Yep.
All right. I got a 15 for move silently and a 23 for hide. I want to disengage the fight and get back on board.
Okay.
Can I pull that off?
Yeah. Give me a spot check.
15.
Ashanti disarms her. And holds her own blade to the woman's throat. Deliver your message. The Sith Queen wants Durro. Under a flag of truce. I'll tell him personally. Now go. My blade doesn't belong to you, Ashanti spits. And turns and walks away as if she meant nothing.
Picked up Venia's lightsaber and took it?
No, she never took it up. She has it in her hand.
Yeah. Okay, so she walked off with this other woman's lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna suck.
Was Tesara watching all of this while communicating via text message with Durro?
Yeah, and you even saw them slip in.
Okay, so Tesara is going to turn to Astra and tell her to quickly get the girls and bring them down to where she knows that Durro and CA are entering the ship.
That's a tight space, says Gungnir. It will hamper their movements. It's best to wait for the captain to decide the next course of action.
Fine.
I'll go get the girls ready to move then.
Yes, please do. Thank you, Astra.
And Astra will look at Cheery to see if she's gonna come, but then she'll head off.
Back at the loading bay, Ashanti will walk up to you. Two things has been. You will always be lesser than us. And then she'll toss you the lightsaber. But now you're whole. And she'll push her lightsaber back to its hiding place. And then you see her kind of fade, but not normally, like she normally disengages. It's as if she had literally run out of energy.
She clips the lightsaber to her belt and turns to look around where is she standing? What does she see?
Just droids working. You're in the cargo bay of the Gungnir.
Okay. She'll pull her comlink. Tesara, what's the plan? Are they on board?
Durro's getting aboard right now. Astra has gone to get the girls and prepare them to move if necessary. But we will defer to Durro once he is aboard again.
Durro is aboard, and within seconds, he is back with the party. I'm going to assume everybody meets on the bridge. I have no disagreement, so everybody is on the bridge minus the girl, the 8 children NPCs.
And a clone
Astra
is with him.
No, because when I said, is there any disagreement, Asher didn't say anything. Therefore, she's on the bridge, also part of this conversation.
No, she did say she went to go get the girls ready.
Yes, they're ready.
Okay.
Everyone's moved onto the bridge.
Okay.
Alongside Clone Astra with Durro in her helmet and flight suit.
Durro says Clone Astra is absent as well.
I will defer that to Durro. Just text chat by the fire, Durro, where Clone Astra is, so I know.
Durro asked her to wait, so I'm guessing she is wherever they came aboard. Immediately came aboard.
This is a really important question. Where did he tell her to wait?
That's what he's typing now.
Understood. I'll wait. Okay, so let me explain this for Duro. You entered one of the engine hatches off of the landing strut. You moved up the engine through the crawl spaces and the ladderways into the main deck where the engines pivot. Mhm. The other question I'll have for Duro is he going to instruct her to keep her helmet off, because once she boards she'll want to take it off. Understood. That's where she'll be.
So everybody's now aboard the, I'm sorry, on the flight deck? The bridge, rather?
All player characters are on the flight deck, including Gungnir and Handyman. Cheery as well, excuse me.
And all the girls.
No. They're just prepped and ready in their room. No, you're fine.
Is everybody waiting on me?
I think so.
Okay. I was not aware of that. Duro has one very simple request. He just wants to know
Oh,
what's
hold.
going on.
Michael just got a phone call, so hang on just a moment, please.
Oh. Was it Chris? Oh, that's awesome. I think we can update Duro with what's going on without Michael here. I could make an executive decision, and Amy is pulling the plug on that. So I'm going to take advantage of this for a bio break.
I don't want to do anything without Michael present.
Okay.
Sounds like Mike is getting ready to come back.
Woohoo!
Bio break. So it's amazing to me that Ashanti got the story about what happened and none of the other crew is a clue.
Well, does Hodge know she can trust Ashanti now?
Oh god, she's never gonna trust the Helvete.
Damn.
Sorry, Charlie. There's too much bad blood between them.
Oh well.
It's going to be very interesting to know what happens when, like, all of a sudden the crew looks around and there's a freaking lightsaber swinging from Hodge's hip.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be some explaining to do there.
Amy had a moment from the ethers. What was that, Davis? No. What they saw was Ashanti take the lightsaber. They don't know how Hodge got it because they were in the cargo bay when Ashanti disappeared. Tossed her the saber and then disappeared. So, looks like those sparring lessons are going to get a whole lot more interesting.
Yep. That's assuming Sith lightsabers have a training mode.
Suppose we're going to find out now, aren't we? Ha ha!
Yeah. I suppose so.
It's also going to cause a little bit of cognitive dissonance for poor Hadassah, who has no interest whatsoever in being a lightsaber. But not for nothing, the way that all went down, she earned that blade. At least in her mind.
I was going to say, remind me what she did to earn that blade?
I'm not putting that on the recording. You can forget it. If Durro wants to know, he can ask her off anything that'll be on freaking recorded on YouTube.
I am back.
Hello, back.
Durro will be greeted on the bridge by an emotionally happy Cheery as she throws her arms around, hugs him tightly, and then quickly blushes and steps back and bows and I'm happy you're alive, Master. She tries to recover.
That was cute.
Durro would hug her back and not acknowledge any breach in decorum.
Jasara is standing there looking a little unsettled and says, "What do we do now?"
It's got some weight to it. Sorry, it's got some weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. What exactly has happened since I've been gone?
Nonsense.
Are we still surrounded?
Yes, you are still surrounded.
Hold on. With all due respect, Durro, what has happened has already happened. I would like to deal with the here and now first, and then fill you in on what has already happened later.
All right. Fair enough. Expect me to make a tactical decision, being thrown right into the middle of the situation with no idea of what's going on.
Short answer, we decided not to leave without you.
And then the Sith found us. I take it.
The Sith knew we were here the moment we landed, Durro.
No, they knew we were here the moment we entered the system.
Accurate.
The Sith
Well-
Queen has extended an invitation to you, Shara. A personal invitation. Under a flag of truce.
Well, that sounds like an invitation that might be too good to pass up.
Mhm. I have feelings about that.
I thought you might, but what are our alternatives?
Not many that I can see or saw. I don't know, Tessara, did you have any better luck?
My decisions led to an issue where we can no longer escape either out into space or out of the city into a different part of the planet. So, unfortunately, my decisions led to now Durro having to make this one, unless Durro has a different idea.
I feel like I don't have enough information to make a completely informed decision. What I do know is that I have been invited to meet with the Sith Queen under a flag of truce.
Astra has been invited as well by Quinn Voss, with no such assurances.
I see.
I can only assume that she wants to see you to get to Astra.
The Sith have gathered up Force users. They're assessing their viability and skill sets and dispersing with them as they see fit. The Sith you saw below are going out in what can only gently be referred to as press gangs. You might have recognized, if you had taken a look at her, the woman that Ashanti was speaking to. She's one of Voss's officers.
Apparently, she was at the dinner with you had with Quinn as well. And if you'll also note the injuries on Hodge's face, she's already run into this woman once. Out of character, he's asking a question on text chat by the fire, and it's actually a good question. Did he actually see this woman? Because he was trying to get onto the ship under the guise of stealthiness when this was happening. So there's a chance that he didn't see her. Mike, can I get a ruling on that?
I will allow that to be the player's decision if he saw the battle between Ashanti and this woman. However, that's what he would have saw. Ashanti locked in combat with this woman. Nothing prior to that.
Right, so some of Quinn's officers are present. And where did we pick up the girls again? Refresh my memory, I am getting a little older.
Off of Quinn's ship, of course.
Yep.
They were slaves. They were navigator slaves.
Yes, and I'm confident that is what Quinn wants with the Force users he is rounding up now.
Yes.
Meaning the girls were in danger.
Yes.
And the relief I'm seeing on everyone's faces means I was out of contact.
Yeah.
We tried to reach you several times, Master. We were unable to reach you.
And so, rather than put the girls' safety above all else and leave while you still had the opportunity, trusting in the will of the Force that we would find each other again, You decided to stay here, allow the ship to be surrounded, and put the girls in even greater danger.
Actually, we decided to attempt far-seeing to see if we could find you or gain helpful information.
It's been
You
a
can
while
s-
since I have really delved into the depths of Jedi lore and attempted farseeing, but that can be done from the depths of space, am I right?
Durro, slap our hands later. We need to make decisions now.
I am making decisions now. I am making it abundantly, painfully, I hope, clear that the girls' safety is still our number one priority.
Yes, it was my decision. And yes, I didn't make the right one. Yes, the girls are our number one priority. This is the situation that we are in right now. If you wish to punish us or punish me for making that decision later, that is up to you. But as Haj just pointed out, we need to make a decision as to what we are doing now before they decide to just board this ship and take us all. She sounds shaky when she says that, by the way.
Well, now let's all take a deep breath. I never said anything about punishing anyone. I only bring it up and throw it in your faces to make the point that their safety is still our number one priority, even at the point we find ourselves now.
Okay,
So,
but
that
none of this
said, and
is
that established, if I decide to have this meeting with the Sith Queen, do we trust her to keep her word?
no.
Right, so we are still on the same page. Do we believe the Sith would think us capable of leaving our own behind?
No.
I think we've proven here today that we are unwilling to do so.
It depends on which one you're willing to leave behind.
So here's my proposal. I go have the meeting with the Sith Queen. Take her up on her offer. She will expect that this will lock us into place, so to speak. They may still keep a guard on the ship, but they won't expect us to try anything until I have been returned. While I am away, while I am having this meeting, at your earliest possible convenience, you ready the ship and you leave. Get the girls out of the reach of the Sith.
Need
I
I
will find
remind
a
you,
way
sir?
to,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was simply going to say I will find a way to rejoin you.
I do need to remind you that there is not only a lockdown of the city for any ships leaving, but there is also a blockade above us in space preventing anyone from leaving the region.
I assumed they would use their ships in a blockade, but I was not certain. You have proof of this. This is a certainty. You know that there is a blockade.
Yes, we do.
I think the Gungnir is capable of running a blockade. You don't have to destroy every ship, simply clear a path and escape.
Well, Master, where were you at?
I was in the catacombs, the sewers beneath the city. There are sections of them that are very effective at blocking the force, in or out, and interrupt sensor and communications data as well.
Why don't, while you're having this meeting with the Sith Queen, we go there? They have no reason to attack the ship.
And leave the
It's
ship
better than
abandoned.
risking, well, it's better than risking a run and all of us ending up dead in a firefight.
And if they decide to impound or destroy the Gungnir while nobody is aboard,
Um,
What if we tried to leave the city and instead of going into space, we tried to go to a different part of the planet? If we could get away from them chasing us, we might possibly find somewhere to hide.
Well, that was going to be part of my tip for breaking the blockade. They are likely in orbit above, or a geosynchronous orbit above the spaceport. If you go to the opposite side of the planet in low atmosphere and then make for space, there should be fewer ships there for you to run away from. Even still, the Gungnir has defensive measures to use against pursuing and attacking ships.
Tassara looks over at Gungnir and Handyman. Handyman and Gungnir, do you know if this blockade does cover the entire planet, or are they only focusing above the city?
From what we can tell, says Gungnir, there are 4 ships directly above the city, making an imposing blockade. There are also a half a dozen other ships scattered throughout the system.
But it would be possible to slip in between.
It is possible.
She turns and looks back at Durro.
That's 6 ships covering an entire star system. It doesn't sound like they are in orbit above the planet itself. We did see 2 ships on a patrol on our way in. So you have 4 ships that you are dealing with directly in orbit, and they are directly above the city. If you escape on a different vector, then they will have to catch up to you. You will not have to go through them.
And there's no possible way to leave the shuttle for you to make your escape without everybody paying attention and noticing.
Unless he takes his shuttle to meet the Sith Queen.
But the Sith Queen is here in the city, is she not?
I highly doubt it.
I believe she
be
is
on
hiding.
planetside?
I believe she is hiding in orbit. Remember, when we came in, there was an anomaly with the moon and its gravity, indicating something massive hiding in its mass shadow.
However, I seriously doubt that the Sith waiting outside would just let you take your own shuttle to her ship.
No, but she might join him. Remember, it's a flag of truce. If they both go in his shuttle and she tries anything, it breaks that flag of truce.
Or we don't worry about the shuttle, and we both trust in the Force that if I am to escape, a way will be provided.
Yes, what did my mother used to say? Plan for the best, but prepare for the worst. If we were to find another area of the planet to offload your shuttle and message you as to where it was located, and then take off, you would have your shuttle somewhere here on the planet to be able to try to get to escape.
Yes, but I'm not going to be counting on that. That is, even with the way it is set up now, removing it from the hangar deck would take several minutes. And if you are being pursued, that's several minutes you are not going to have.
Agreed. So
I
plan
fully
A would be escape. However, if we were not being chased or we were able to get away, plan B would be to exit your shuttle and take off.
If you manage to escape, it will be after you have left the planet's gravitational field and are well out of the system. In such case, there's no point in leaving me my shuttle. I will still be stuck on Morganals.
Would you want anybody to stay here in the city with you? Perhaps Handyman himself?
I don't
To
believe
what
that
end?
will be necessary.
To what end? If he goes up to the Sith Queen's ship, leaving him behind seems pointless.
As I said, I am taking the Queen up on her offer of a flag of truce. I don't expect her to keep it in the way we are expecting, but I am making a show of good faith and taking her at her word.
As per handyman, it takes 10 minutes to prepare the Gungnir to take off. If we are still surrounded even after you leave, we will likely be fired upon before we can escape.
I did say at your earliest possible convenience. If you remain surrounded, if they remain on alert, and you are unable to power up and escape, well, so be it. But again, the safety of the girls and keeping them out of the hands of the Sith is our number one priority.
Then I posit this option. If they stay out there surrounding our ship, yes, we wait to see if they leave. And if they leave, we take that opportunity. But if they stay, or even if they look as if they are going to board the ship, we send the girls down into the same sewers that you entered our ship from. That way they find us aboard, but not the girls. Or Astra. Astra could be with them for her protection.
And then what?
The girls are protected?
Yes, but they are stuck underground in hiding. And if we need to leave quickly, we will be unable to retrieve them.
Well, it's we may not need to leave quickly.
Haj has left the room, by the way. I'm sure she's irritated with the endless debate.
We may not need to leave quickly, but if you do have to make a quick escape, you could always find another area of the planet to hide the Gungnir. And the girls and I could meet you there.
Master, says Cheery.
Yes, Cherry.
I know my voice doesn't matter. And I know that you're right, I should trust in the Force. But you made a promise to me to teach me. And if we leave you behind and you can't escape, then you'll be breaking your promise.
Smart kid.
Yes, well, there are other ways to continue your training, even if we are not together.
But I gave you something very important to me. I gave this up as part of our, and she pauses trying to collect her thoughts. And you can see her like trying to form her argument in the argument, you know, as part of our contract. Your word. And yes, there are other ways, but you would be breaking your word, and you wouldn't break your word.
Well, you are correct, which means I will definitely have to find a way to return to the group, to the Gungnir, to continue your training.
Then can I say that we don't leave system? We can hide. A solar system's really, really, really big. I mean, it's big enough to hide the Queen's ship, and that's big. And they're only hiding behind a moon. We pass a lot of planets on the way in. Can we hide in system and wait for you? You could signal us to come if all is safe. Would that be okay? And if you never signal us, well then we won't think about that because you'll signal us.
As long as you are hidden, not actively pursued, then yes, that is acceptable. But as long as you are in danger from the Sith, if they are in pursuit, if there is risk of capture, Then I'm afraid you must continue running. You must get out of their reach.
Yes, master. And I have another question, she says nervously.
Well, ask.
Where did the person you came aboard with go?
I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to be caught up on events and see what we were dealing with first. Now, the person I came aboard with is in my quarters. She's waiting because I did not want to cause unnecessary alarm or distraction while ascertaining what happened here. And Durro will look at Sarah and add, the presence I sensed was not Orchid after all.
Hang on a second. I need you to pause real quick because I have to ask a really important question.
Okay. What is the really important question?
No, I'm doing it right now. I may have to pause this scene if she'll get off the game on her phone.
Right.
Okay, you can continue.
The presence I sensed, identical to one already on the ship, was, well, a clone of Astra.
Tessara's eyes widen, but she doesn't say anything.
Astra doesn't look surprised at all.
And what is your plan?
I see somebody's far-seeing bore fruit.
If I
This,
want to answer that, I'll answer it when I'm ready.
this clone is undoubtedly of the Crusade, undoubtedly has programming similar to that which we dealt with Astra. However, unlike our Astra, in her experience, she had to fight to escape the Crusade. She was not allowed. She has then spent the time since Raxus Prime trying to reconnect with us, with her master.
Tessara actually turns around and goes to look at the same um, thing that Cheery and Hodge had been looking at, because this isn't something that she feels that she needs to involve herself in. This is more between Astra and Durro. She's listening, she's in the room, but she's just she's not directly looking at them.
In surviving on her own for so long, she has made some remarkable progress in her Jedi abilities, particularly in learning about and honing her seer abilities. However, I am still worried about whatever the Crusade would have done to her, especially as she believes that she is the original and that the Astra that has been aboard the Gungnir is a clone and therefore dangerous.
I am not a clone.
Well, it is a possibility that you are. Talking to this
Yeah, no.
other Astra, combined with some of the things she has said, made me consider the possibility that the real Astra, the one who was actually born and had a childhood, may have been unfortunately killed on Raxus Prime. That's both the Astra standing before me and the one in my quarters are both clones.
Astra just kind of stares at him like he's crazy.
I have no proof of that, but it is a thought that has entered my mind. The cloning technology available to the Crusade is unlike anything I have ever experienced. Clone Astra claims to have seen it in action. They can assemble a fully realized life form as if assembling a droid. They can create a clone from a genetic template in a matter of hours. Now, that said, I do have respect for the clone Astra as a life form in her own right, one who has had her own experiences and deserves every opportunity to live as any other. After all, I spent 3 years serving alongside hundreds of thousands of clones, and they are all individuals, though they come from the same genetic template.
So long as she doesn't attack anyone, I have no problems with her.
I understand that there is a danger to having her aboard the ship, but at the same time I am loath to simply sacrifice her to serve our own ends, whether that be to Quinn or in some other method.
Master, are you crazy? You couldn't hand her over to Quinn even if you wanted to. If she's mastered her ability that far, or as much as you're saying, she'd be a huge weapon against everyone, against the galaxy.
Yes, I am aware. I am aware from talking to this other Astra that is exactly what the Sith Queen wants. Your seer abilities. Your ability to alter the flow of the Force, to change destiny, for lack of a better term. She knows that she is destined to die, as all beings are, and she wants to change that fate. She wants what all Sith wants, immortality, and she wants to use Astra's abilities as a seer to achieve that.
Well, that explains a lot. That explains so much.
Handyman will speak up. Maybe I should run a full examination on this clone to ensure that she is not dangerous.
Well, unless the programming is dealt with in a mental, metaphysical sense, you will be unable to find the chip. I think we have established that.
The chip's location, now that we know what we're looking for, should make it a little easier to find. It'll still be difficult, but not evasive. We can, looking over to Astra and then, to where Hodge had once stood, we could dress it up as a simple, routine medical examination.
I brought her aboard because she feels like it is her duty, as a Jedi, selfless thing to do, to sacrifice her own well being to ensure that I live, because in her estimation, I am the most important person on this ship for the future of, well, all of existence. And he would raise his hand.
Oh.
He would raise his hand before anyone could say anything and say, I am not saying I agree. That is just her estimation. And in believing that she is to die, and in believing that she is the real Astra, she wanted to say goodbye to her chosen sister. Which is why I brought her aboard the ship so she could speak to Tassara. However, there is a situation that we were unaware of when I brought her this direction, and that is something I feel must be dealt with first. Getting out from under the thumb of the Sith.
That explains so much.
Durro will raise an eyebrow. Again, somebody's far-seeing has borne fruit.
I knew about the clone. I saw you and her heading towards the ship. And then it fast forward and she attacked me from behind in my quarters with a syringe, and then she went to the Sith Queen and surrendered herself. Asking only for your life to be spared.
I see. Well, without knowing what was going on up here, I told her that I believed that she had shown a lot of the skill and the proper philosophy and mindset of a Jedi, and that, well, similar to your final test, he would say, looking at Astra, her final test would be to face the Sith Queen, to do the right thing for the good of everyone, even if it
Bad
was
idea,
something she didn't
Master.
want to do. I believed it would just be facing her demons and not giving the Sith Queen what she wanted. Now I'm wondering if that is the wisest course of action.
That's a bad idea, Master.
I would
As
still
soon as
like to
she
give
sets
her the
foot
opportunity.
on board, the Sith Queen will take her.
Yes, and of the two versions of you, she is the one furthest along in her far-seeing abilities. Right, so, since we've been talking in circles long enough, I am going to take the Queen up on her offer. I cannot claim to know what the future holds along that path, but we will all follow the guidance and will of the Force and do what we know we must.
I
For
have
all
one
of you,
question.
go ahead.
You're leaving this clone aboard with us?
Yes, I
And
see no reason to take her along.
can you explain to me if you believe she has the same programming, the Crusade programming, why you as a Jedi weren't immediately set upon and attacked if this programming is supposed to kick in when she sees Jedi?
I don't believe that it kicks in automatically upon seeing a Jedi. I believe the way it works is similar to the clones from our universe. It must be activated, triggered somehow, like with Hodge and Astra.
And what do we do to avoid this tripping?
I don't know what the activation protocol is that the Crusade intended. I do know Hodges began activating when she was made aware of it, when
So,
it knew it might come under attack.
Captain, says Handyman, before you venture off into the lair of the Sith Queen, you and I should speak. In private.
All right. And he will look at everyone else. May we have the bridge?
In fact, if possible, the medical bay.
Very well. Tassara, if you wish to speak with the clone, she is in my quarters. Again, she believes she is the real Astra, and I see no reason to argue that point. Don't make reference to her being a clone, and certainly don't bring up the programming, and all should be fine.
She turns to look at Astra. And you? What are you going to do?
Somebody needs to stay on the bridge and keep an eye on things.
yeah, I think I'll call Hodge and let her know that everything's chill and stay here with the Cheery.
Haj has returned to her quarters.
I know.
Well, I don't think the
All you guys saw was her leaving. How the hell do you know where she went?
Good point.
That is what I just said. Nobody's listening to me.
Don't make me lick your nose, man.
Haj has left the bridge. I do not know where she went. I could posit that she went to her quarters, but I do not know for certain.
That's why I said I'd send her a message.
Tassara, Handyman says, give us about 20 minutes, then fetch the clone and bring her to the medical bay. We'll find out exactly what we're dealing with.
Tassara nods at Handyman and heads for the door.
Handyman will turn, Captain, at your leisure, and he'll turn and walk out and head for the medical bay.
Oh, Durro will follow him.
So I'll knock out Durro's scene first, then we'll knock out Hodge's scene, and then Tisara. So as Durro and Handyman reach the medical bay, Handyman walks over to his control panel and brings out his data spike. It's not the one Durro remembers him normally using, and he jabs it into the data port, and it spins, and red lights flash, and a set of blast doors seal the medical bay, and you notice several layers of ray shields activating. And he pulls it out. The medical bay is under full quarantine. There is no means of accessing this ship from within. Handyman says.
All right. And the reason you felt this was necessary?
He walks over and activates a security vault and opens it up and pulls out 2 small jars and hands you one. It's a biochip. Does this look familiar?
You withdrew these from Astra and Hodge.
This is Astra's.
I see.
And he hands a very similar looking one. This one is the one I removed from Hodge.
Out of character, what are the differences?
Durro can't see a difference.
Can he feel a difference?
Not through the Force. But there is something tingling about this, something he is missing.
Well, I know there's a difference, but I'll be damned if I can spot it or feel it.
This is highly sophisticated programming, he says, motioning to the one out of Astra. In fact, compared to similar Crusade technology that the professor and I had the rare joy of examining, clearly one of their more advanced models. Hodges is made of brain matter. There is nothing significant, nothing special about it.
And for those of us who are not trained medical personnel,
This is not a biochip. It is exactly what we expected to see. But on closer examination, it is a very clever copy of what we have previously observed. And when I say we, Master Thaltanus, I mean you. It is an exact copy of Astra's.
so it's a decoy chip.
I don't believe so.
Well, then, I am confused.
Astra is a clone. There is no mistaking this.
Ah, I see. Since Hodge is a clone or a creation of some kind, and her
She
chip
is not a clone.
Hodge is not a clone.
She is not. At least, not in the sense that you and I are capable of understanding.
Is she a Strandcast then?
Possibly. But it's definitely nothing that I have ever seen, nor has there been any records of it throughout any database I have access to.
All right, so putting aside that mystery for the time being, Astra is undoubtedly, beyond shadow of a doubt, a clone.
This was self-evident.
And you are wondering if the Astra that has appeared now is, in fact, the original.
Did you not consider this a possibility?
I had. I had considered it a possibility, although I suppose deep down I didn't want to believe it. But still, everything I said about the Astra I just brought aboard applies to the Astra we have been traveling with as well. Clone or not, she is a unique life form and is as deserving as anyone to continue to exist and to live and experience.
Then, Commander, I must urge you. The highest degree of my protocol must now be respected. Do no harm. Revealing this information to either subject would cause distress, would cause emotional harm. They need not know such things.
I will defer to your judgment.
Give me time to assess this new Astra, to identify what she is. I will have my initial analysis within the hour, if you are willing to wait within the hour.
I don't know how long the Sith will give us, but I will see what I can do. I would like to know. And correct me if I'm wrong or misunderstanding, but you have no idea what exactly Hodge is.
No, I do not. I just know what she is not. She is not the same as Astra. Though, whatever she is capable of attempting to deceive us. Well, you. Of course, she can't deceive science. Science is the supreme power in the galaxy. You can reason through everything, even the Force.
Do you believe that Hodge still is programmed that we failed to remove it because it let us think that we had succeeded?
If she possessed such programming, yes. However, if she does not have such programming, then the fact that she attempted to deceive in understanding in an attempt to deceive us understanding what we're looking for implicates the fact that she has already compromised your defenses.
I see. Well, keep me informed. And again, I defer to your judgment as to the levels of, well, medical secrecy, for lack of a better term.
It is not secrecy. It is mercy. Until we can figure out what they are, there's no reason to inflict harm upon the patients.
No, I understand. Why raise the question if I have no answer to give?
I will continue my assessment. I am observing Hodge very closely, as well as routine follow-ups on Astra to see any changes. As it stands now, Astra poses no threat to us as far as Crusade programming goes. Hodge is still a mystery.
All right, thank you, Handyman. And I will do my best to wait for your initial analysis.
Understood. Hodge, Give me a listen check, please.
$24.
You hear somebody in the galley. As you leave the bridge, you're heading off the bridge. You know everybody's on the bridge except for the girls. You know where they are. But there's a sound coming from the galley.
Leaving the bridge, she's been this. So this is in transition to her quarters.
Correct.
So they're still having their brouhaha in the. Okay, so that's a thing. They're still having their brouhaha in the bridge, and she walks off and hears something in the galley. Right then. Because this always ends well. She's going to investigate because she can't not.
So,
and she's got her blaster, which she is armed these days. She's got her blaster on her hip, and she'll walk in with the blaster pulled.
you see this strange four-legged droid. It's got these long, thin, narrow legs that end at points, and it's moving around the counters, and it's like standing up and rifling through. And that's the first thing you see is a strange droid, and it's got this long head that's kind of shaped in a partial triangle. And it turns and looks at you, and you hear somebody saying, "Hey, look what I found, Twilight." And you see Astra poke her head over the refrigerator, and she sees you, and her eyes go wide.
Yes, so do Hodges, and the blaster comes up. And she's just standing there with the blaster pointed right at her.
Just stand there.
She's gonna fire.
Okay, roll it.
You never did get me the damn data on the blaster. No, never did. Wait. So range is what?
Range is 4M.
4. Okay.
Attack bonus is 3.
Okay.
Damage is 3d4.
3d4 type. Okay. Attack 19 versus AC, damage 6.
Okay. So you draw it out and you fire. Give me a reflex check, please.
$24. That'll stop conversation.
You draw, you fire, and you see, just as you're drawing, you see her eyes.
Oh no, she had the blaster out. She walked in with it out. All she had to do was
No, it was not drawn on the bridge.
No, when she heard the noise,
okay,
she said she walked into the kitchen and the blaster was out.
Okay.
All she had to do was raise and fire.
Okay. So you're raising it up to fire, and you see her eyes turning blue, and you pull the trigger, and you see that bolt go, and her hand snap up, and it stops halfway between you two.
Doesn't even roll for it, just assumes.
No, I rolled it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was doing when you were rolling it. And this was the last roll she made, and she shoots it back at you.
At reflex 24, do I dodge it?
Yeah, that was for you to get the fuck out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way.
It narrowly misses you.
So long as it misses, we call that a win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She takes a second shot.
Okay. So, Tassara, you're leaving the bridge, and you hear blaster fire.
Hang on a second, because again, time continuity is a thing.
I was gonna ask.
So Hodge left the bridge at least 5 minutes or more
What was more?
before the rest of them, while Tassara was standing there listening.
Short of 5 minutes. I was timing it.
Okay. So she exits the bridge
Right.
and she hears blaster fire.
Right. So Hodge hears noises. I'm assuming she's not rushing. She's moving silently, which means her movements are slowed. She walks in. She checks. She looks. She sees the droid. She sees. She sees Astra. She draws up and waits that few moments, and then pulls the trigger.
Okay, so Tassara sees any of this?
No,
Nope,
you hear
Tassara
it.
just hears
I hear
blaster
it.
fire.
Yeah.
So Tassara starts pummeling as fast as she can down the hallway
Okay.
towards the sound.
The
I
second.
need initiative
Okay.
because you may not have another action.
Okay, that's cool. 18.
Okay, you go.
All right.
Need I need to tell you that she is using the Force?
I got that.
Okay.
I did notice that. Okay. So we're going to, if we can't hit her with a blaster, let's see how she likes a beam to the head. We're going to move object. Yay, chair. So she's going to whip a chair.
Okay.
21.
How many Force using levels do you have?
She's a second level Force adept.
Okay. So
she's going to kick my ass, but if it knocks her off her feet long enough for me to get a second shot in unobstructed, I'm going to take it.
it doesn't knock her on her feet. She does catch it, and unless you're willing to go into a struggle over ownership of the chair through the Force,
Nope.
Then this is your opportunity.
Yep, I'm gonna take it. I'll cover.
You see Hodge in the doorway shooting.
Okay. She's still running towards her.
Bonk. Okay. Attack 18 versus AC, damage of 6.
Okay. And again, you see her stop it.
She's got a chair in one hand and stops the bolt with the other?
She let it go and let it fall.
Right. Okay.
And let's see.
Do I need to throw reflex or she's going to blast me through the chest?
No, you do need to, you do need to roll a reflex.
Yep. 15.
I'll give you tied to the defender.
Okay.
But this one grazed you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll blame it on the recent the recent tricks.
Tassara.
Tassara runs in. Is Hodge still standing in the doorway?
She's in the doorway.
Okay, so can she see beyond Hodge in the doorway?
No. You can only see Hodge shooting her blaster, and then you don't hear the second blaster shot, but somebody is definitely hitting blasters back at Hodge.
So Tassara shouts, "Stop! Who are you firing at?" This is to Hodge.
There's not going to be a stop. She's not going to let up from the third shot. This is going to suck. She'll answer first. It's the clone, and she fires again. Oh, I'm taking my life in my hands. Yep, attack 13. She missed, I'm thinking.
Yeah. You see her reach out to try and stop it, but it goes wide and she misses it.
That's fine. I'll take that.
Astra, stop! She yells. She can't see her, but she just yells.
And you hear Astra call out, Tessara? Be careful, it's a monster!
Astra, it's me. This is my friend Hodge. You never met her. Stop attacking each other.
I'm not! She's attacking me!
Are they still firing at each other?
You only hear one blaster firing.
Attack 24 versus AC.
See, what's helping her is the fact that she's hiding halfway behind
That's
that refrigerator.
24.
It hits the refrigerator door.
Oops.
Hodge, stop. Durro told me to come speak to the clone.
And your blaster is ripped from your hand.
God damn it.
I'm not a clone! And you see it crumple and fall to a mangled mess between the two of you.
Tessara grabs Hodge's shoulder.
She reacts violently.
Does she swing?
She rips her shoulder. Which shoulder are you coming up on? It had to be that she's right-handed, so it would have to be her left shoulder if you're going to avoid that.
Yeah.
She whips around and swings.
What do I have to do? What do I have to roll?
No, she has to roll.
Okay.
You can try to avoid it by making a reflex check higher than the attack.
Okay, so what? Just a D20 for an unarmed attack?
Yeah.
Nat 20, y'all. Why? Just why?
Okay, was it a nat 20? That's really important. Okay, unfortunately, because she rolled a nat 20, she's going to connect.
But it'll be with an open hand or a graze or something.
No, it's not a graze.
Oh,
It's
No, Tessara just got clocked in the head.
Oh my God.
So she stumbles backwards in surprise.
I need you to roll a fortitude check, please.
Okay.
DC 15.
DC 15? Okay. Oh, Jesus wept. This is getting really funny. Okay. Oh, 14.
Okay, you just you hear the telltale signs of a blaster firing behind you on stun as you crumple to the ground.
Okay.
And you see Tessara rush up to you. Oh my god. Not Tessara, I'm sorry. You see Asher rush up to you. Oh my god, Tessara, are you okay?
This was the Astra in the room, in the kitchen.
Yeah, she's dressed in an Olivon pilot's uniform.
Okay, when Hodge hit Tessara, where did it land?
She said she was aiming for the face, so you got clocked in the face.
Okay, is she bleeding? Did she break anything?
No, because she doesn't have unarmed she doesn't have martial arts, so she can't do wound damage.
So it knocked Tessara over, though. Is she on the floor?
Yeah, and you're probably just getting back up.
Okay, and Hodge has now been stunned?
He is laying on the ground unconscious.
Tessara gets to her feet and rushes over and kneels down in front of Hodge to check that she's not...
Slow down.
Okay, sorry, Jesus.
Because Astra's standing right in front of you, helping you to your feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's asking you if you're okay, and you're not going to answer her and just bolt for...
Yeah, she's going to scramble over to Hodge to see if she's been killed.
Okay.
So she'll do a, check for vitals?
Well, you move over there, and you feel Astra hold you back. Be careful. She's dangerous. She's a monster.
She turns around and she looks at this Astra and she says, she's my friend and my student. And I think you just killed her.
I didn't kill her. I stunned her. I wouldn't kill anybody, Tessara. Why would you even say that?
Tessara, when she checks that Hodge is not, in fact, dead and he's just been stunned, she stands up and she goes, what just happened?
Your friend, your student, just attacked me for no reason. I was trying to get something to eat.
We thought you were in Durro's quarters where you were told to stay.
I
Why
was
are you here?
hungry.
Yes, I was on my way here to get you something to eat and then bring it to you in Durro's quarters, but you didn't wait. Why?
I was hungry.
Oh my God.
I'm a prisoner.
Yes, and you don't know this person because you haven't been with us. She attacked you because she thought you were a threat.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was I going to do? Beat her up with a salami?
Tasara pinches the bridge of her nose. She says, please, just sit down. I don't know how long she's going to be out.
I do. As long as I keep shooting her with this on stun.
Tasara is going to attempt to make her put down the stun gun.
How is she going to make her do this?
Okay, you're right. Good point. Let me rethink this for a second. She says,
Cesara,
put down the stun gun.
I haven't seen you in months. This is how you treat me? We're sisters.
I am aware of that, Astra. Look at me. Do I present any harm to you?
No. But
Then set down the
does.
stun gun. Set it down.
I thought you swore to defend me. And your friend just attacked me for no reason. Didn't say anything, just attacked me.
Would you have done the same if somebody you didn't know was in the kitchen? He was expecting you to be somewhere else.
No, I wouldn't attack first. That's not the way of the Jedi.
She reacted. She's had a very, very, very bad day. We thought you were in Durro's quarters. I understand that you were hungry. I was coming here to get you something to eat because I thought you were probably hungry. So I'm sorry, but all I saw was you guys attacking each other. I don't care who fired first. She's still my friend, just as you are. So can we please set down the stun gun?
I thought we were sisters, she says, putting her blaster back in her holster.
We are sisters, but I haven't seen you in a very long time. What are you even dressed in?
It's all I could find.
All right, then do you want something else to be dressed in and a shower and some food?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's finish getting you some food. I have some clothes that you can wear and a shower. It's actually warm water that now that we're like not in space. I think you deserve those things, don't you?
She holds up a hand. And you see tears coming down the side of her coming down her eyes. No, she says. No, there's something else. And
What?
she moves forward and hugs you. And you can feel her crying. I have missed you.
And Tasara was ready for it, believe it or not. The moment she saw the girl moving towards her, she knew that she was about to get hugged. And all she does is just hold on to her and rub her back and go, I know. I'm sorry.
It's been so hard.
I know. I can tell. Look at you. What have you had to do to survive?
Hide and run while monsters like her did nothing but hunt me and chase me like an animal.
Okay, so that's why you reacted, because somebody that's a Zabrak tried to kill you.
Not just a Zabrak, her. I've dealt with her before. Her kind. She's Crusade. They're monsters.
You know, Astra, the whole world has been turned upside down by clones. I'm sure that there are clones out there that look like her. And I don't blame you for being upset for being attacked by somebody that you thought was going to attack you. And I'm sorry that I shouted at you.
Not thought. She attacked me for no reason.
I know. And she rubs her back and she pulls away from the hug and she says, listen, you reacted and she reacted. It's just what happened. I'm glad she's not dead because she was taken by surprise by you being somewhere we didn't think you'd be. Okay? I've known her for months and months and months. She's my friend and she's actually my student. And she's had a horrible, horrible, horrible day. She reacted by seeing somebody in the kitchen that she didn't know was going to be there or think was going to be there. And you tried to defend yourself, right?
She holds up her hand, and a piece of crumpled metal floats into it. And she takes your hand and puts it in there. I'm glad I'm not dead. I stunned her.
I'm glad
She
you went
wasn't trying to stun me. As she points to the burn mark in the refrigerator.
Yes, you're right, Astra. But you know what? She got terribly, terribly injured today. You're right. You're right, Astra. She did try to do that. But none of us knew that you were coming to the kitchen. If we had, I would have warned her that you were going to be in here. She probably heard something. So I don't know if you know this or saw when you came aboard with Durro. This entire ship is surrounded by Sith guards.
No, and I saw Ashanti. Oh my god. I thought Ashanti was gone.
She's pretty crazy looking, isn't she? She looks like you, but not at all. Like, her hair is blonde.
She looks like she's got me with daddy issues.
Oh, Astra. I like this one. Ashanti is nothing like I thought she was, and everything like I thought she was. We can discuss her later, but I tell you what.
How is she here?
It's a long story, honey. Sit down. I'll make you something to eat.
Hang on. And she goes over to the refrigerator and starts picking up the items that had been spilled out of the refrigerator. You know, I am kind of glad about something, Astra. Tassara.
She is just looking at her, waiting for her to finish.
Had I decided to go to the loo, your crazy friend might have just blown me up.
Well, and she would have blown up the loo, too, and that would have been ugly. What is this? What's this droid do? I've never seen it before.
Oh, Twilight Sparkles, she says, pointing to the droid as the droid slowly crawls out of a cupboard, clearly terrified of what's going on. Come here. And he leaps over and lands on her arm. And then she brings him over to the table.
It's nice to meet you, Twilight Sparkles.
And he kind of moves up and, beeps and everything, kind of rubs its head on you. He belonged to a bounty hunter that was trying to kill me.
I'm sure that has occurred a lot. I'm glad you got something out of nearly being killed. It's sort of cute.
Well, I removed all the death and gore stuff, and watch. Twilight, can you brighten my day? And its eyes flick close, and it generates a beautiful rainbow pattern on the walls. It's Twilight Sparkles.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, I tell you what, you've come a long way. You've been through a lot, just even the last few minutes. Please sit down and let me make some food for you. I'll clean this up. Tell me, what happened?
Well,
the last thing I knew is that you were on Raxus Prime.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have no idea. So I was on Raxus, and they were these monster men, like her, but men, Put a pin in the men thing. Not sure yet. but still, they were everywhere, and I was like zoop, 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 trying to fight them off, and then Ashanti was zoop, 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 trying to fight them off, and then we were captured. And I don't know what happened after that. I remember Ashanti, well, it's a little complicated because they're different. Well, they were different. And so she was like yelling at me to wake up and wake up and wake up. And I woke up in a baka tank, and you know how much I hate baka tanks. And I was terrified. And I didn't have much choice, but I had to get out. I had to break free. And so I had to break my bonds and escape. Oh, they were not happy about that. And so I gathered up what little I could, and I left with what I had. And they don't clothe clones very well at I call it hell, but it could be called something else, but we'll just call it hell for now. And so I'm running around in this white smock with my butt hanging out, just trying to not get caught by these monsters everywhere looking for me. And then I find this tech. I'm thinking, oh my god, finally a real person. Everyone in hell is a clone.
Okay. So while she's animatedly saying all of this, Tessara
Yes.
is cleaning up the mess and making her some food. And she sets down some food in front of Astra and says, okay. And in the back, Tessara actually sends a force communication message to Durro and says, Haj stunned in hallway. Please help. And that's all she says. She just and goes, okay, and tell me what happened next.
So, well, I managed to escape hell, which was not easy, you know. And so they are just insane. They, like if you kill one person and you see that person again, they know you killed them. Did you know that? They know, oh, hey, you killed me. I'm here to kill you now. Not really that, but I'm being over dramatic. But oh my God, they remember.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Yeah, right? They remember. And so I managed to escape hell, and I'm like, okay. I remember you guys saying that you were working with Olivon, and I thought maybe Master Palpatine could help me, get back in contact with you. And when I arrived on Olivon, they're hunting me. They think I killed somebody. They think I murdered somebody. Me, Tessara, me murder somebody. I didn't even kill this monster. Well, okay. In my defense, I did kill her technically. I dumped a giant vat of molten metal on her, but she really was trying to kill me at that time. Not today, before.
Yes, I understand. And you were trying to defend yourself. If you hadn't, she would have killed you. So you had to
Yes,
do what was
exactly.
necessary to survive.
And I didn't kill her. I wasn't trying to kill her, just trying to scare her. And well, then she attacked you. She was gonna kill you, and I had to do something, and I drew my blaster.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. Listen, there's so many confusing things happening aboard this ship right now and outside this ship as well.
Right? I am just so glad I disabled my blaster a long time ago. It only shoots stun.
It's good to know. Do you still have a
way,
lightsaber?
no, the Crusade has it.
Mm. So did Ashanti have a lightsaber with her when she was helping you fight your... So how did you fight your way out of Rexus Prime without a lightsaber?
She didn't help me escape. She could just yell at me and do things, not like before. They were They were different.
Apparently. So without a lightsaber and Ashanti's yelling at you to tell you what to do next, you managed to escape, but without a lightsaber.
I did manage to find weapons along the way.
Oh.
Big advice. So, hell minions, if you pick up a weapon from them, you can't use it.
Okay. Why? Does the weapon turn on you as well?
No. So when I thought I could pick up one of their guns and shoot them, the stupid thing wouldn't shoot, but it damn sure shot at me. So I knew it was working. So what I had to do was I had to quickly think, and when I put the man's hand on the gun, it lit up like it's gonna work. So okay, not a man, but still. So what I did was I had to cut his hand off with a steak knife. Do you know how long that takes with a steak knife?
Well, that's fairly visceral, but I understand that's what you had to do.
I had to wear his hand like a glove to make the damn weapon work. You think? It's like,
okay, so you managed to escape. What did you do next? I mean,
I went to Olivon.
Right. You went to Olivon. Did you go see Master Palpatine?
I never had a chance. They were hunting me. They think I murdered their Grand Master. Me, Tessara. Me. I murdered somebody. How crazy is that? I had to escape Olivon.
So you managed to escape Olivon.
Yes.
Did you take a headhunter?
I did.
Fascinating. And that's why you're still dressed in that uniform.
Well, it was kind of all I could get my hands on.
Right.
And then
what did you do after that?
I went to Baklid looking for Ava, hoping that Ava could help me.
How long ago was that?
Months ago. And they think that I murdered Nova. Again, me, Tessara, me. How could anyone think I murdered Nova?
Nova's dead?
Yeah, they had a state funeral and everything. It was really horrible.
Oh my god. I had no idea. Well, that's horrible. Well, obviously you managed to escape Baklid.
I did. And then it was run, hide, run, hide. Then I saw that Master was going to be in danger, and so I came.
You used your seer abilities to see that.
The same way I beat this monster. I could see seconds before they act.
Yes, I can see why. As a seer, you would have that ability. I mean, in the Force, I can do something similar, but not as perfectly honed, I would suppose. Not as clear as you can. And then you came to Workinals.
Mm-hmm.
And you came here
a few weeks ago
to stop them from killing Durro. Is that what you just said?
Well, how do I explain this? So, the Astra you have with you is a clone.
Uh-huh.
And I saw in the visions that one of the possibilities of Durro being here is she's going to kill him or be responsible for his death. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this plays out, but I know that he's going to die and she's going to be there.
Okay. So you came here to stop it.
Well, yeah, he's my master. I have to. And I also finally knew where he was going to be.
What can you see now?
Really, Tessara? I can see all kinds of things, but come on. I mean, how have you been? I mean, has the clone or the monster hurt you?
No, of course not. Honestly, please don't be hurt, Astra. But that clone has been with us since Durro. It's been with us this whole time.
Yeah,
I
Master told
thought
me.
she was you. And so I've treated her as I would treat you. And Haj is the same. She's not a monster. She's my friend. So no, that clone hasn't hurt me at all because you wouldn't hurt me. So she didn't hurt me.
Well,
And
that's good
Haj
to
is
know.
my friend and she wouldn't hurt me. So no, I haven't been hurt at all.
Well, that's good. Though I'm curious to know if Hodge hurt your clone, if you'd be equally concerned as you are with me. She says bitingly, a little irritated.
Yeah, well, we don't know anything until it's happened. Out of character, Durro is saying he needs to get to bed. He has work in the morning.
Okay, do we want to break right here?
I mean, depending on how Durro's feeling, we can finish the conversation with Tessara and Astra. Isn't there another conversation you wanted to have after this one? And then if Durro wants to go to bed now, he can listen to the rest of the recording, or do we want to just break right here and start up again in an IB before Thursday, or what do we want to do?
I'm waiting for Duro.
Sorry, that was an echo of my cough. You saw his message about that once Durro gets to Sara's message, he will go tend to Haj. Okay, good. Yep, that's fine. We'll get out of your hair.
Does anyone have any questions before we wrap up tonight? Astra?
Nope.
Were you giggling?
At?
Were you giggling?
At?
The clone.
Yeah.
You don't sound like you're giggling.
Oh, I was giggling at some of the clone's explanation because some of it was pretty funny.
Though I love Tessara. Like Hodge goes in there firing like a maniac, and Tessara, Hodge's sister, or Tessara's sister is like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And Hodge is like, or Tessara's like, "Fuck you," and goes right to Hodge.
In the not for nothing category, you know exactly what would happen if Hodge and Astra went at it, because even while you were on the village, you either saw the play-by-play or heard from either one of them what the hell happened and the altercation between them when Hodge came completely out of her memories. So you kind of know that she's already been in a physical altercation with Astra.
Right.
Wait, she has not been in a physical altercation. They never actually came to blows.
Come see, come sa.
So here's the thing. If Hodge hadn't been knocked unconscious, Tessara might have reacted differently. But to see Hodge on the floor, like out, she was really scared that Hodge had just been killed. She wasn't taking into consideration that this Astra would never kill anybody. But she was like, oh my God, my friend is on the floor. Is she okay? So yes, I mean, this Astra was standing in the kitchen not unconscious and on the floor. So yes, Tisara was like, "Oh my God, is Hodge okay? She's had a shit day already."
Yeah, but I mean, everybody knows. We've watched the videos. We know that stun bolts sound and look different.
Okay, you're talking to me about this. Do you think the player remembered that? Did anybody say that? No.
Well, hold on. I did say the telltale sound of a stun bolt.
Oh, I missed that. I mean, I did hear you say that, so I missed it. So Tisara reacted how she reacted. Here's the other thing. Hodge has been attacked already today. Even if she was stunned, it could have done her serious damage from already having been attacked today. They're asking for XP, by the way. Okay, so you didn't speak that out loud, Mike. We heard you, but you didn't say it on Discord.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the reason why I don't want to continue is because Durro should be showing up at any moment, and in the process of showing up, what I want to do is I want to pick this scene up in an in between. Hodge, you're going to be unconscious on the floor throughout this in between.
Cool. I guess Aster gets to hang out
So-
with Fury.
So, but nobody thought to put smelling salts under her nose? Like, what
Well,
the hell?
right
Rub
now-
her sternum? That'll wake her up really damn quick.
Right now, Tisara is trying to distract and listen to this Astra and not, like, that's why she sent the message to Durro, like, I cannot do anything right now other than focus on what I'm doing. Please help. So, anyway. All right, so we're going to continue this as an IB between Durro and you and Tisara. You is playing Clone Astra, right?
I work in the morning, so do me a favor. Set the scene up, start it, and then Durro will show up at that moment.
Okay, where is, for Amy's knowledge, where is Astra? Is she still on the bridge?
Astra's on the bridge with Cheery.
Right. She said she was going to pay attention to the guards outside and watch what they were doing and notify anybody if anything changed, right?
I guess that's what she's doing.
Okay.
Any comments, questions tonight?
Well, here's the thing. Tisara
Suck my blaster, Buster.
totally gets why Hodge was firing. Like,
No, actually, I'm gonna drop a dime right here and go. No, actually, I don't think she does, because Tisara wasn't privy to the in between Astra and Hadassah, and to assume otherwise is metagaming.
no,
And-
she assumed that you heard something in the kitchen like she did and went to investigate and fire.
And fired on Astra because she knows that her Astra, that OA is on the bridge, or that's where she left her, so this one is obviously an imposter.
Exactly.
And if clone, then crusade and kill it on sight. That's a fair leap to make. That's a fair leap to make. Says the Olympic stand.
Wait.
Says the Olympic stand queen. What was it? The Olympic queen of the standing long jump.
No, this is what Tisara heard. There is something going on in the kitchen. She sees Hodge in the doorway and thinks, that must be clone Astra she's firing at because she doesn't know what she's doing in the kitchen. That's all the leap that she made. She didn't make any other leaps other than Hodge heard something in the kitchen and was not sure if it was who it even was.
Saw Astra standing there and went, "Fuck it! If I can't kill the other one, I got this one dead to rights."
Oh, wow. Amy is glaring at Looney right now.
So for everyone who can't see, Amy has this look of absolute disgust on her face. She's shaking her head, and she's just like if I can flip her off and get away with it.
Okay, go ahead and flip me off. At the very least, I deserve it because, shooting for the... There it is! There it is! Oh, baby! You know where to put that later.
Wow, okay.
This is a long-standing problem between Amy and I when we game together. Inevitably, my character will clock Jameson. Is this the second or third time?
Jazara wasn't thinking. All she was thinking was, please don't trip, because Durro had just said to her, don't do anything that could trip the programming. And all she sees is Hodge firing. And she's like, oh, fuck. I will just go get clocked in the face. That's fine. No problem.
You hadn't grabbed her. In fairness, if you hadn't grabbed her, she would not have struck out at you. That was having been manhandled earlier that day, where she whirled around and just kept on swinging.
I never said that was wrong. I absolutely, when she hit Tasara, Amy was like, yeah, that's legit. After what she's been through today, Amy knew why. I don't take offense to Tasara having been clocked in the face at all.
Amy didn't take offense when Eshe cloggered Fate for the cheap seats either.
Oh my gosh. She used to do that all the time, though. Like, it got to a point where Phaedra was just like, I'm obviously hysterical. You need to hit me now.
I'm wondering when Tasara's going to start, not making excuses for Hadaza.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I get it.
That is all Tasara.
Hodge to, ridiculousness.
I have to say, I am...
Oh, here comes the Davis.
If that had been our Astra that saw clone Astra in the kitchen, are you telling me that Astra wouldn't have started firing on her?
No.
What would she have done?
When has Astra openly started a confrontation?
Says the one who knows that this is a good chance that she's going to get killed because this Astra is going to put a needle in her neck and kill her. So you're just saying she would have just seen her in the kitchen and just been like, la la la, I'll have some cheesecake with her.
She doesn't know for sure about that, and she's kind of like, I need more information. Now, would she have stayed there by herself with Clone Astra? No, she would have been like, no, I'm out of here, and went to find Hodge.
I have nothing more to say.
You sure no one stayed and offered her a cupcake?
Pancakes.
Astra has never once been openly confrontational or openly violent. Like, all of the fights Astra has gotten, she has not started them, technically.
Except for that whole, I'm going to sneak into the armory and get a blaster just in case. I mean...
Technically, she didn't start that either because she just went back to her quarters. That's not starting anything.
Exactly. That was Hodge's own mind and perception of shit that started that.
Yeah, she totally made up seeing Astra go to the armory and get a damn blaster.
No, that was Hodge's perception of things. Astra can't control how Hodge perceives her actions. Ergo, Astra didn't start the fight.
Fair enough. I'm curious, as Tasara is rushing over to the crumpled form of her student and giving her the once-over to find out if she's breathing, she must have rolled her over at some point. When she hit the ground, did she re-break her nose? Does she have to have that bitch reset again?
No, she would have fallen backwards. I'm sorry. No, wait. She was facing Astra in the doorway. She was in the doorway and she was facing and firing on Astra.
Yes.
And when she was stunned, she would have been stunned face on, meaning she would have fallen backwards.
No. She took the shot in the back because she had turned around and clocked Tasara and sent Tasara sliding back.
She dropped this way when she crumpled down, which means it isn't. And when you fall unconscious, you always fall face forward. And
Not necessarily.
Typically, women will.
Why? Because you're top heavy?
Yes.
No. Once you crumble to the ground, that means your whole body no longer can
Supports the
support,
weight.
and it just crumples because gravity.
Did she break her nose again? Is she
No,
gonna have to have
she
a
didn't
bitch
break her
reset? Thank
fucking
you.
nose.
Did Tisara notice the lightsaber on her hip when she flipped her over and was trying to find out
No.
if she was... No? Okay.
No, she didn't.
Isn't that fascinating? Oh, here comes Durro.
She was a little busy. In her defense, Tisara was a little busy. She just wanted to make sure that Hodge wasn't dead.
She was absolutely, completely busy ignoring the fact that her friend, her student, had ruthlessly, murderously tried to attack somebody, and then that person who just saved Tisara from being physically assaulted, fuck her, let me go check this fucking assailant.
Hey, listen. She had spent a lot of time with Hodge, and she was just told by Durro, this is a clone whose programming could be tripped at any second.
So then it's a really good thing that as Hodge was falling to the ground unconscious, she didn't yell, Order 66!
Apparently.
I actually have heard from friends in the police force that stunned individuals always fall forward. Thank you, Durro. God damn it, I just had this thing set.
Okay, I hate to be the wet blanket, but we actually do need to go get out of Mike's hair. He does have to go.
Yeah, no, and Durro as well. Alright. I am killing the voice to chat. Good night, y'all. Let there be in-betweens.
Yep.
Yeah, good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. 0, 3.